You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2768, Chapter 2768, Chapter 588 Killing the Invincible, Suppressing the Heavens. Wuxia Monthly 2. Chapter 2768, Chapter 588 Killing the Invincible, Suppressing the Heavens. Wuxia Monthly 2. This subordinate doesn't know. At this moment, a few invincible figures of the heaven hunting pavilion also appeared. They were all puzzled and surprised. Where was he? Where was the head of the Sky Division? Dead? Impossible. Such a powerful figure had really died. There should be some movement. Could it be that he was left in the starry sky mansion? And at this moment, someone asked anxiously, who has the nine-leaf sky? This was also the key. Where was the nine-leaf sky lotus? At this moment, Kong 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 shouted, "It's in Su Yu's hands." It was indeed taken away by Su Yu. These were the words of the Five Elements race's experts. These were all words that Su Yu had asked them to say. At this moment, the great Qin King's expression changed slightly. Soon, in the distance, the fated clan's invincible said softly, "It was taken away by Su Yu. It's in Su Yu's hands." As September 8, she mumbled, "Su Yu took it." Everyone's words speak louder than words. Everyone said that it was taken away by Su Yu. As for the great Qin King, his heart moved slightly. He had discussed things with these people before, but none of them followed his words. It was obvious that Su Yu had made his own decision. At this moment, the great Qin King's heart moved slightly. Su Yu was in big trouble. Everyone was saying that the item was in Su Yu's hands and that he had killed him, but the others had found nothing. What else was there to say? This was forcing Su Yu into a dead end. The great Qin King looked at Su Yu from the corner of his eyes. That Su Yu. Was he for real? Since they were far away, it was not appropriate for him to use his willpower to investigate. He only took a simple glance and saw that the invincible ones were nearby. He was unable to investigate in detail, and for a moment, he was unable to determine if it was the real Su Yu. Even he didn't dare to confirm it, let alone the others. At this moment, among those who came out, some were certain that Su Yu was among the crowd, while others were wondering if Su Yu had left through the undead passageway. For example, September and the others. They had some doubts, but it was hard to say now, and they couldn't say it either. If they said it, there were some things that couldn't be explained clearly. So many invincible experts had died, but they were still alive. This matter couldn't be explained clearly. Therefore, the best way was to push everything to Su Yu. Everything. Let Su Yu bear everything alone. This was also Su Yu's own choice. There was no need to complicate things. Everything would be over if he pushed everything to himself. At this moment, in the distance, the expressions of the great Xia Emperor and the others were also fluctuating. It was all Su Yu. Everything had become Su Yu's. Even the nine-leafed heavenly lotus was in Su Yu's hands. There were not just one or two people who wanted this thing. Everyone who was above eternal. Seven Dan wanted it. Even if they were not at that realm, no one did not want it. Su Yu, he actually took the nine-leafed heavenly lotus. The group of people were also speechless. Are all of you trash? What is his strength? He can fight almost invincible. Someone gave an answer. A group of invincible or speechless, F*CK, a group of idiots. A guy who could fight almost invincible, although terrifying, 30 invincible, plus a bunch of invincible fellows on the Tao manifestation roll, were actually snatched away by Su Yu. Was this a joke? At this moment, some of the experts of the Five Elements clan who were outside said in a low voice, "Jean Roy, how could the nine-leaf sky lotus be snatched away by Su Yu?" Jean Roy, who was also the gold spirit race expert who participated in the battle previously, cursed in his heart. Nonsense, you'll know when you go. I'm lucky to be able to come back alive. How could it be taken away by Su Yu? Do you think you're more powerful than Shuehua and the others? He thought. Jean Rui said, it's hard to say the specifics. Su Yu seems to have taken control of some of the terrifying existences within. He didn't know how he did it, but he summoned an incomparably terrifying existence and killed everyone in one go. Even Shuehua and the others were heavily injured. We were also lucky and didn't dare to snatch it, so we escaped with our lives. A terrifying existence. How powerful could an invincible existence be? At this moment, some people were connected to the commotion from before, and their expressions changed. So that was the case. No wonder. No wonder Su Yu was killing people and snatching treasures. This fellow had found someone to rely on. No wonder. At this moment, the eyes of the invincible existences erupted with divine light as they looked at the people who had come out. There are a few, the hand is more appear an eye. Syncretic eye. Scout. There are eyes to see the great Qin King, suddenly slightly moved, but it is not easy to see through. Some people saw Zhan Wushuang and the others, but, at this moment, they were all in a coma. Not only that, it seemed that someone had placed a restriction on them. This made some of the experts of the God clan change their expressions and look towards the human side. On the human side, the great Qin King did not say anything. Zhu Tianfang smiled and said, "Don't look at us. Su Yu has placed a restriction on us. It's best for the celestial race not to interfere. Otherwise, if these people explode, no one will be able to do anything." On the celestial race's side, the expressions of some of the experts fluctuated. Some of the celestial race's experts wanted to retrieve them, but they saw a few invincible experts shout, "Wait until the investigation is over." Who knew if it was Su Yu who had disguised himself? There was not one but several third-level Dao fusing eyes, which meant that several third-level Dao fusing experts were investigating, looking at the past and the future. As for investigating the Sea of Will, this was a taboo, even now. Many of them were invincible descendants. Soon, someone looked at the humans and shouted coldly, "All humans, open your Sea of Will and let us investigate." The great Qin King said coldly, "What are you talking about? Great Ming King, don't think that we don't know what you're thinking. You want to protect Su Yu. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2769, Chapter 2769, Chapter 588, Killing Invincible, Suppressing the Heavens. Chill Monthly 3. Chapter 2769, Chapter 588, Killing Invincible, Suppressing the Heavens. Chill Monthly 3. Someone berated him and said coldly, "Su Yu might be hiding among the humans." Xia Longwu said in a low voice, "He still cares about the humans. Otherwise, the humans wouldn't have survived so much. If that's the case, why would he hide among the humans? Use your brain to think." Humph. Although what Xia Longwu said made sense, the human race had survived so many years, but none of the invincible ones had died. Forget it. Yun Chen had even attained the Tao. Shouldn't he be troubled? Not only should he be troubled, but he should also be troubled. In the distance, the eyes of the great Zhou King, who was disguised as the great Ming King, flickered and he quickly shouted, "You only want to find Su Yu. Do you really want to start a war with the human race? Let my people come here first. Even if we start a war, you won't get any benefits." The aura of the great Qin King didn't seem too weak. This surprised the great Ming King and the others. Had he recovered? Or what? In short, at this moment, they didn't feel that there was too much of a problem. They were making a ruckus, but no one on Su Yu's side really cared. The four unrivaled experts were holding down the fort, and they didn't have any thoughts. If you don't cause trouble, we won't care about you. If you cause trouble, the four unrivaled experts would suppress Xing Hong. Even if Xing Hong was very strong, it wasn't enough for one to fight for. There was still the possibility of an eternal 7 Dan existence. Xing Hong's strength was around level 8 Eternal Realm, but his existence was very ancient. He might be stronger than ordinary experts, but no matter how strong he was, he wouldn't be able to defeat the four unrivaled experts easily. Moreover, Xing Hong had a job to do, and they hadn't provoked the ancient city. Did Xing Hong really think that the rules were just for show? As for Su Yu, he had a helpless look on his face. I really have no choice. He gritted his teeth and said, I am Su Yu, the real Su Yu. If you hit me, you are provoking the sacred city. I will give you one last warning. Don't go too far. Tian Yu, I have warned you. If you hit me, you are making an enemy of the sacred city. I will make all the guards attack and kill you. Ha ha ha. The Tian Yu immortal king laughed. This fellow was too funny. He looked at Xing Hong is in charge. I'll beat him to death. He's just an ordinary citizen of the ancient city. If I kill him, so be it. There's no problem, right? If you say that you stand up for Su Yu and your city lord, then it's understandable. I think you won't go so far as to find trouble for an ordinary citizen, right? Xing Hong said coldly, killing an ordinary citizen is not allowed in the city. Naturally, it's not up to me to control the outside of the city. But killing Su Yu and killing my city lord is a provocation. Ha ha ha, he's not Su Yu, is he? Tian Yu laughed hysterically. Little fellow, you've been jumping around for so long. If you cause more trouble, this king will really kill you and let you know what eternity is. Do you understand? The last sentence clearly carried some killing intent and anger. Shut up. A little shrimp, jumping around endlessly, is that it? Su Yu has the capital to provoke the invincible, do you have it? As for Su Yu, he did some calculations in his heart. It was still all right, but the provocation was completed. This time, these fellows would definitely make a move on him. There was no problem. He glanced ahead and calculated which ones he would attack later, which ones he would kill, which races he could let go of, and which ones he couldn't let go of. Now, those who surrounded the human race and refused to leave, he had to kill them all. Those who were watching from the side could be put aside for the time being. They were all killed and could not be killed. To make an example of the monkeys, if not even the monkeys were killed, it would be difficult to kill them. Thinking of this, Su Yu roared again, how dare you! You are provoking the great master of the sacred city. All guards, listen to my orders. If these people dare to attack me, kill them all without mercy. Silence. No one replied. After a while, Heaven Extinguisher's lazy voice came, all right. All right, I know. If they attack you, we will go out of the city and kill them. Killing Su Yu is a provocation, understood? The group of people couldn't help but laugh. They even acted as if it was real. Come out and kill them. These unrivaled experts didn't take it seriously. But at this moment, someone's expression changed. On the side of the Five Elements clan, the floating earth spirit looked at Jean Rui and quickly transmitted his voice, Elder, hurry up and tell the other old fellows of our clan to leave quickly. Jean Rui was stunned. What now? Elder, can't you tell? That's Su Yu. Even the floating earth spirit was convinced. How could he still not understand? Then he must be the real Su Yu. The preparations were almost done. Once Su Yu took the initiative to make a move, the gods and demons would attack him. Very well, a great battle would break out immediately. The Guardian would make a move because, he had already said so many times in advance, killing Su Yu was provoking them. Did he not understand this? Could he not tell? Jean Rui was a little dazed. It couldn't be, could it be that this was the real Su? Su Yu wasn't hiding around. Stop fooling around. He thought Su Yu was hiding in the crowd, so. He wasn't. Damn. Did he really leave early? On the other side, Madhwa frowned slightly and looked at Su Yu, who looked like an idiot. If he was fake, then he was a real idiot. Who would take these provocations seriously? But what if it was real? Did Su Yu get out? How did he get out? The undead passageway? Madhwa had some doubts and didn't say anything. He only looked at his ancestor, Demon King Moj, who was in the distance. He hesitated for a moment, but he quickly said, "Ancestor, check me first. After that, I want to leave this place first. I'm injured." Madhwa glanced at Madhwa. There weren't many living demons this time. Madhwa wasn't the only one. Under his luck, there were still a few demons alive, but Madhwa was the most important. Moj also had the third-level immortal soul third eye in his hand. He looked at Madhwa Na and said, "Everyone, Madhwa Na has the aura of the Demon Emperor's blood essence. It can't be Su Yu. I will personally control him. How about it?" You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2770, Chapter 2770, Chapter 588 Killing the Invincible, Suppressing the Heavens. Seeks Monthly 4. Chapter 2770, Chapter 588 Killing the Invincible, Suppressing the Heavens. Seeks Monthly 4. The other invincible thought for a while and didn't say much. Since there was the Devil Emperor's blood essence, then it wasn't a big problem. No matter how bold Su Yu was, he didn't dare to touch the Devil Emperor's blood essence. It was easy for the Devil Emperor to kill him. Only then did Moj reach out to grab Madhwa. As for the other devils, he didn't care too much. Later, he would carefully check them to prevent Su Yu from getting mixed in. Once Madhwa Na reached his side, he quickly transmitted his voice, "Ancestor, it's none of our business. Let's leave first." Leave? Mo Go frowned. He transmitted his voice, "No matter what, we have to kill Su Yu this time. If this person doesn't die, it will definitely be a huge disaster. Also, you're all from the same generation. If he doesn't die, your glory will be covered up and your fate will be stolen. Your progress won't be that fast." Mordona fell silent and said nothing more. The ancestors won't go. He's afraid something's going to happen. And at this time, the road I one by one to explore those people, there are a few small families, the road I is not polite, even the sea of will to explore, the road, will also see people under the food. What does a race without a powerful champion care so much? For large races, such as the Celestials, if they wanted to investigate, they would mainly use the third-level immortal soul third-level eye instead of directly invading the Sea of Will. At this moment, on the Celestial side, an invincible expert whose face was slightly pale said in surprise, "My son is still alive." The group of people looked at him. He was the only one alive. On the Celestial side, there was actually still one alive. Su Yu was also surprised. There was still a fish that escaped the net. In the crowd, an immortal expert with the strength of the Sun-Moon realm had a blank expression on his face. He looked around in fear. The immortals. Was I the only one? He looked at his father and hurriedly said, "Father, I went to the next level that day. There was no danger. As for Su Yu, I didn't encounter any danger. There was no danger at all." He remembered his father's words. "Yes, I have to say that I went to the first level. Otherwise, there would be trouble." That's right. This was the fellow who had been notified by the invincible immortal clan. He had disguised himself as going to the first level to investigate. In fact, he had run away early. He had run very early, astonishingly early. He went straight to the 7th level. Before he received any news from the river map, he had already run to the 8th level. On the 8th level, he didn't go anywhere. Once he went in, he found the residence of a random immortal general and went into seclusion. His strength had improved a lot since he came here. He was already at the 8th layer of the sun and moon. At this moment, he thought of his father's exhortation and was shocked. The others had died. Damn! Then I must say, one went to the first floor. Otherwise, what would I do if the responsibility was given to me? However, once these words were said, the group of people became extremely strange. You went to the first floor. Are you sure? He too went up to kill. You went to the first floor, but you didn't meet he too. Are you F*** lying to a ghost? As for the invincible immortal, his face was slightly stiff, but he recovered very quickly. He shouted softly, nonsense, you went to the 6th or 7th floor, and you didn't even have the ability to go to the next floor. How can you talk nonsense? Nonsense? This immortal was also stunned. What happened to my father? When I was inside, you asked me to say that. The immortal king was a little embarrassed. After all, old people were shrewd. Soon, he said without changing his expression, don't talk nonsense. You were scared by he Tuesday Sai, how come I have a useless descendant like you who ran away when I met he too? How dare you talk nonsense? He too. This sun-moon realm wasn't too stupid. He vaguely understood. L. Seemed to have said something wrong. He too was also in the starry sky mansion. Alright, then I'll say I went to the first floor. There seems to be a problem. Forget it, forget it. I've already come out. I don't care. Everyone else died. Impossible. 5 immortal kings. He didn't even dare to think about it. Not only were the immortal kings gone, but the invincibility of the various great clans seemed to have disappeared. The other invincible kings weren't stupid either. At this moment, they were all looking at that person with gloomy expressions. I understand. That fellow was the first to inform the descendants of the clan. Everyone thought that he had really sent his son down to investigate, but that was a lie. That damnable fellow, a dignified immortal king, was actually so shameless. This time, he was exposed. More importantly, some of the immortal kings of the immortal clan were still very jealous and furious. All of the immortal kings were dead. Only this guy's son had run away. If nothing unexpected happened, it might have something to do with this guy's advice. In the distance, Suyu was also surprised. He had roughly guessed what had happened. Not bad. There was actually a sole survivor. Heavens, this was luck. This person was an immortal with a lot of luck. Seeing those people approaching the human race one by one, Suyu took a deep breath. It was fine to investigate the human race, but he didn't want to discover the Great Qin King. Although the Great Qin King's strength had recovered quite a bit, he had lost 2 lives after all. Suyu had an emotionless expression. He took another step forward and left Xinghong. He said angrily, do you have to stop me? Don't go too far. I'm only going to pick up a few people. Tian Yu and the others were stunned. They had seen people who wanted to die, but they had never seen people who wanted to die like this. Do you really want to die? Not only did you stay by Xinghong's side, you even walked out alone. You won't shed tears until you see the coffin. The other immortal king beside the Cosmos immortal king said calmly, isn't it good to be alive? You little fish, don't get involved, don't cause trouble, I'll kill you, dirty. Your hands. Do you know? A dignified heavenly king, killing a fish like you, really dirty his hands. Do you know? As for Suyu, he was very angry, anxious, and helpless. He gritted his teeth and looked at Xinghong behind him. Sir, they attacked me, will you? Really attack? You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2771, Chapter 2771, Chapter 588 Kill the Invincible, Suppress the Heavens. Asks for a monthly 5. Chapter 2771, Chapter 588 Kill the Invincible, Suppress the Heavens. Asks for a monthly 5. Tian Yu and the others were almost amused again. Didn't he say that he was righteous? Why was he not confident again? Sure enough, a fake was a fake. He was afraid that if Xing Hong did not make a move, he would be laughed to death by this little cutie. Today's happiness was all built on this little guy. Previously, he was still very sad. After being made fun of by him, he was really happy. He was so happy that if he really wanted to kill him later, he would give him a quick death. Xing Hong was stupefied. This acting of yours was really trash. Alright, since you are acting on your own, then trash is trash. Then. Thank you, sir. Su Yu had a desperate expression. He looked at the immortal king and then looked at Tian Yu. He was thinking, who am I going to hit? All the people here had 3 bodies. Of course, if a single person dared to surround Xing Hong, he would be courting death. If he were to fight Tian Yu, at most, he would be able to kill one of his bodies. However, he might not be able to kill Tian Yu, and he might not be able to hide it from Su Yu's senses. If he were to fight another immortal king, the other party would probably be at eternal 5 Dan. If there was any hope, he could just kill him with 1 punch, destroy his body with 1 punch, and end the battle with 3 punches. He could just kill him. Su Yu made up his mind and looked at the immortal king furiously. He gritted his teeth and said, "What's your name? I'm going to beat you to death." You. Ha ha ha. The immortal king smiled brightly. This king can fulfill your wish. You little trash, this king's honorific title. There's no need to know. There's too much nonsense. Su Yu snorted. Suddenly, he gritted his teeth and charged at him angrily. Stunned. The group of people were stunned. This fake Su Yu wasn't looking for death like this, right? The immortal king was a little speechless and a little surprised. However, he was still somewhat vigilant. He probed toward Su Yu and stretched out his hand to grab him. It was better not to let this kid get close to him. In case something went wrong. He was speechless. Where did you get the courage? I really don't know who gave you this courage. Did Xing Hong give it to you? Su Yu continued flying towards him. He was unafraid of death as he gritted his teeth. When that huge palm's astral energy came smashing over, Su Yu suddenly cursed, "You really dare to attack me? Taking the initiative to attack me." The immortal king didn't give him a chance to speak. Idiot, I still want to slap you to death. You took the initiative. Su Yu roared. You took the initiative, you broke the rules. At this moment, he activated the Pierce character and instantly teleported. It was less than 100 meters, but it was enough to reach invincible. The distance of teleportation was very short. However, it was also very fast. Spatial teleportation was very useful. Otherwise, it would take some time to kill him directly. He instantly appeared. That invincible also felt the spatial fluctuations. He sneered. He was a bit surprised, but he was not afraid. He clenched his other hand and threw a punch at the space that had just been torn apart. Go to hell, kid. He was actually a space type. Everyone knew that Su Yu did not know space type divine prose. Otherwise, he would have used it long ago. You are the only one who is pretending to be Su Yu. Mountain suppression. And at this moment, Su Yu roared. Other than not using his yang aperture, all of his power instantly erupted. We are face to face, and you are still so arrogant. Do you think that Su Yu, have never killed an invincible person? This mountain suppression alarmed everyone, and they all looked over. Boom! An earth-shaking explosion sounded. Everyone saw a clear scene. That fifth-level eternal godly monarch was smashed into pieces by Suyu with a punch. A long river of time and space appeared. In an instant, an immortal king was resurrected with some confusion and fear. How was this possible? How was this possible? However, he did not have time to think. Suyu's long fist descended once again. With a muffled roar, he punched down again. Nearby, the other three invincible kings sensed it and attacked one after another. They were all extremely surprised and shocked, but they knew that they had to attack. At the same time, Xinghong was already prepared. At this moment, he shouted angrily, "How dare you provoke us and kill the master of our sacred city? You're courting death." Boom! He also threw a punch, shattering the sky and earth. The expressions of the three unrivaled experts changed drastically. They hurriedly turned around and charged at Xinghong. Xinghong had really attacked. What was going on? Why did Xinghong dare to take the initiative to attack? Impossible, impossible. Could it be that this was really Suyu? This thought surfaced in their minds, but they did not dare to think about it. They really did not dare. How could Suyu be outside? This was impossible. They were still in shock. The unrivaled experts in the distance had yet to react. On this side, Suyu did not hold back at all. Once again, he punched out with all his strength. Boom! Another earth-shattering explosion. The second body was destroyed by him. Once the unrivaled warrior's third body was destroyed, his strength would plummet. Furthermore, it was a complete accident. He instantly destroyed two bodies. In the river of time and space, the last body appeared uncontrollably. The immortal king was completely terrified at this moment. He was terrified. As he roared, "No, you can't. You can't kill me. I'm an immortal king. The king of the immortal race. I didn't do anything. How could I die? Impossible. Who are you?" He was filled with endless despair and fear. He wasn't Suyu. No, he definitely wasn't. How could Suyu be so strong? Who was he? Boom! The third punch was thrown. It was like a huge mountain pressing down on his past body. With a boom, the river of time broke and his third body was completely shattered. Rumble. Blood clouds gathered in the air. In a distant place, the immortal realm trembled slightly. Within the immortal realm, a huge mountain split open, revealing a Dao palace. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2772, Chapter 2772, Chapter 588 Killing the Invincible, Suppressing the Heavens. A Monthly 6. Chapter 2772, Chapter 588 Killing the Invincible, Suppressing the Heavens. A Monthly 6. The heavens collapsed and the earth cracked. Yuan Qi and willpower overflowed. Until the moment of death, the immortal king's resentment rose. With endless unwillingness, his roar resounded through the world. Who are you? Who are you? Why do you want to kill me? Why can you kill me? Killing embryo Suyu, just leaving the city, killing an immortal king as a sacrifice. At this moment, he completely ignored him. He threw a backhand punch at the demon king. As for Xinghong and him, they attacked from both sides. With a roar, countless stars appeared and suppressed Tianyu and the godly king. It was only at this moment that the people in the distance reacted. It was too fast. It was unbelievably fast. It was so fast that they did not dare to imagine it. They did not dare to believe it. At most 1 second, an immortal king would be destroyed. 3 bodies had fallen. He was dead. This wasn't one of the three bodies. It was all of them. He was dead. King Heng. An immortal expert cried out in shock, anger, and fear. What on earth had happened? Who was that? As for Su Yu, he had punched out with a muffled sound. How could he have the time to bother with all of you? Let's kill an immortal king first. In the next moment, more than 10 invincible experts charged over from afar. Someone roared angrily, "He's Su Yu." Terrifying. Su Yu. Killing the invincible Su Yu, killing the eternal 5 Dan Su Yu. At this moment, everyone only had one thought. Crazy, really crazy. Su Yu could actually kill invincible. This wasn't the main point. The main point was that Su Yu was really outside. Who was inside? They were all confused. Invincible was a little dumbfounded at this moment. They only felt that they were like idiots, toyed with by Su Yu, played by him, and the price was the death of an immortal king. It happened in an instant. As the unrivaled experts charged over, Tian Yu and the immortal king were punched out bv Xing Hong. Su Yu also sent the demon king back with a punch. The expressions of the three unrivaled experts changed drastically. Up until now, they did not have the time to think about what had happened. All they knew was that Xing Hong was very strong, and when he made his move, the fake Su Yu was also very strong. F***ck, was it a fake Su Yu? Was it real or fake? At this moment, Su Yu said angrily, "Are you guys bullying me because you have more people? Why are there so many invincibles against me, Su Yu? 36 guardians, help me kill the enemy." A shout resounded through the sky and earth. In the next moment, 34 invincibles appeared in the sky. Including Xing Hong, there were a total of 35. This was something that no one, had expected. In this world, there were only these 35 powerful figures. No, including Su Yu, there were 36 invincible figures. They were all incomparably powerful existences. With a roar, 36 fists were unleashed in this world. The Cosmos Immortal King was extremely terrified. This side was closer to the ancient city, while the invincible figures behind were further away. Even if someone could reach them in an instant, they wouldn't dare to. All the guards had come out, who would dare? No one would dare. Boom! 36 punches smashed down, causing the entire void to collapse. The Cosmos Immortal King was instantly blasted apart by 7 to 8 punches. He had just been revived, yet another 7 to 8 punches were blasted apart. He was revived again, and another 7 to 8 punches were thrown at him. For the last time, he was the same as the previous one. He was filled with despair and unwillingness, as well as bewilderment and helplessness. He mournfully asked, "Who are you?" He looked at Su Yu. As for Su Yu, he punched out with a speechless expression. "Nonsense, I'm Su Yu. Damn it, how many times have one said it? Su Yu." The Universe Immortal King was filled with intense unwillingness. Yes, he was Su Yu, he had said it before. But I don't believe it. I'm the Universe Immortal King, I'm an eternal 7 Dan existence, PM the king of the immortal race, I actually died. I'm unwilling. Boom! The river of time split apart, and 7 to 8 fists landed. The Universe Immortal King was dead, and the blood clouds instantly gathered. At the same time, the Demon King and the Godly King were far weaker than the universe. Under the attacks of the 36 experts, the three bodies were as weak as tofu. Boom! Many loud bangs rang out. A moment later, only darkness remained in the void, and nothing was left. In the sky, for blood clouds gathered and blood rain could be seen falling. Silence. At this moment, silence. On the other side, more than 10 invincible figures stopped, their faces pale. On Su Yu's side, 35 stone sculptures stood behind Su Yu. Su Yu's white robe was like snow, fluttering in the wind, and his long hair fluttered slightly. Su Yu took out a white cloth and wiped the blood on his hands. He threw down the white cloth and looked at those invincible figures who had stopped in front of him. His smile was radiant, as if he was a saint. His tone was gentle as he said, "Everyone, but they hit me first. I told you, I'm Su Yu, you can't hit me. They insist on seeking death. Don't you think it's inappropriate?" He killed 4 invincible figures. Just for this sentence, "I'm Su Yu." He was really Su Yu. At this moment, the aura of death on Su Yu's body shook the heavens. It was caused by the aura of death from the 35 cities. At this moment, his white robe was turning black. However, he appeared even more demonic and monstrous. This was really Su Yu. This was because only he could bear all the aura of death from the ancient city at once. On the other side, the unrivaled experts from all the races were all stunned. Su Yu summoned 35 invincible guards. They had left the city. At the same time, the void was torn apart, and many powerful and ancient existences revealed themselves. In the heaven-hunting pavilion, Heavenly Lord Jian's expression changed. In the distance, the rich general of treasures had a solemn expression on his face. Further away, the entrance to the immortal realm opened. Heavenly Ancient's true body stood at the entrance and looked at Su Yu. At this moment, many hidden ancient existences revealed strange expressions. Some tore through the void, some used their willpower to investigate, and some watched from above the realm. On the sea of stars, Su Yu's smile was brilliant. The aura of death eroded, and his white robe turned into a black robe. However, he still maintained his original appearance. The black-robed Su Yu appeared even colder. "Su Yu! Su Yu!" Murmurs rang out from all directions. The peerless experts felt that they needed to reacquaint themselves with this young human. He was an incomparably terrifying existence. This was because behind him stood 36 ancient unrivaled existences. And he himself had easily killed a level 5 Eternal Realm expert. Even if it was a sneak attack, it was still his strength, a strength that made people feel despair and disbelief. On the human side, the great Qin King, the great Xia King, the great Ming King, and the great Tang King were all stunned. "This is Su Yu. Are you kidding me? Is this really Su Yu?" Further away, Bai Feng and the others also had their mouths agape. Bai Feng muttered, "My disciple. Stop fooling around, it's impossible. An existence that could easily kill an immortal king." Further away, in the East Rift Valley, the great Qin King gritted his teeth. The great Zhou King was stunned. "I've seen many things, but after not seeing him for a month. He came out and killed 4 invincible existences. I can't believe that he's Su Yu. This is too fast." No one in the 10,000 races could believe it, but they had to believe it. And at this moment, behind Su Yu, the stone sculptures felt great, carefree, and crazy. "We are the invincible ones. We came out. Ha ha ha." The ancient invincible existences were all incomparably crazy. Even when they felt the experts from all directions rush over, even if they recognized some people, they still didn't care. "Come, let's start a massacre." In Su Yu's eyes, even if they were at the Tao merge, they were only juniors in the past. They had only been guarding for 100,000 years, and the tiger had fallen. "Today, we will tell the world that we are still here, that we are still alive, and that we are not dead." In front, Su Yu's long robes fluttered in the wind. Behind him, he could feel the excitement in his heart. Su Yu had a smile on his face as he slowly said, "How many people want to kill me? Come, stand out. Today, why don't we determine the victor and the loser, and fight to the death? I, Su Yu, will wait for you here." His sonorous and powerful voice shook the heavens. "I am here. If you want to kill me, come." At this moment, on the opposite side, the invincible members of the Five Elements clan quickly retreated. The invincible members of the fated clan quickly left and retreated. Today's Su Yu is the main character of the heavens. P.S. Ask for a monthly ticket. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2773, Chapter 2773, Chapter 589 Battle begins. L. Chapter 2773, Chapter 589 Battle begins. L. For unrivaled sacrificial flags. On the other side, the unrivaled experts stopped in their tracks and looked at the cold and handsome Su Yu in the air. For a moment, they felt their hearts palpitate. Human race. Was this another monster that could suppress the ancients? At this moment, the void was being torn apart. 35 unrivaled ancients appeared. This was no longer something that these people present could make decisions about. Very soon, experts from the immortal race, demon race, and celestial race tore through the void and appeared here. A white-haired and white-bearded immortal old man with age spots on his face tore through the void and stepped on the river of time. He landed nearby and coughed non-stop. He said softly, "Guards of the sacred city, what are you doing?" Jade King. On the side of the immortal race, the group of invincible experts trembled slightly and bowed slightly. On the side of the human race, almost no one recognized this old man. However, nearby, an ancient race expert recognized this old man and took a light breath. He transmitted his voice, "King Yu, if I remember correctly, it seems to be that immortal genius from the seventh tide flow. He once fought with the human king from the seventh tide flow. It's him. According to our records, the seventh tide flow is a peerless demon from the immortal race, and he's the number one on the heaven hunting. He's still alive. According to our records, wasn't he killed at the ninth tide flow? It's probably just a third generation being killed." One expert after another discussed in shock. On the immortal side, a peerless genius from the seventh tide flow walked out. Although he looked old, he was actually much younger than many ancient experts. However, from the looks of it, he might have been injured. That elder, who was also the Jade King, looked at Su Yu and then looked at the guards. He coughed again and said, "The guards of the sacred city didn't take sides in the 9 tide flows. This time, the human race isn't stronger than the other tide flows. I hope that everyone will think twice before acting. The human race doesn't know how strong the immortals, fiend celestials, and humans are. The smaller races don't know. The new races don't know. Don't tell me that the guards still don't know." The moment these words were said, before Su Yu could speak, Tian Mia was extremely ruthless as his cold laughter resounded through the world. "Who do you think you are? So what if the immortals are strong? Are you strong?" With a cold laugh, Tian Mia roared and tore through the void. A rod formed from Yuan Qi appeared in his hand as he struck down at the Jade King. The Jade King's expression changed slightly as he sighed, "Tian Mia, your temper is ruthless. It has been recorded since ancient times, but you are courting death." The Jade King's lips moved slightly, and tens of thousands of long swords instantly appeared in all directions. These countless long swords transformed into a sword net that instantly charged towards heaven's destruction. "Looks like we can't talk about this anymore." The Jade King's strength was also incomparably powerful. He looked at the guards. Even though heaven's destruction was powerful, he was still indifferent. "You have suppressed the undead passageway for countless years, and you still have some merits. However, you don't know your fate. You should be destroyed." Boom boom boom. Along with his words, Tian Mia smashed countless longswords with his rod. Those longswords seemed to be endless as they continued to appear. On Su Yu's side, someone was about to attack. Tian Mia furiously roared, "This seat will do it myself." Jade King. He was just a junior, yet he dared to be so arrogant with him. In the next moment, an incomparably savage roar resounded through the world. A moment later, a 10,000 feet tall ancient ape that was covered in blood chi appeared in front of everyone. At this moment, the Jade King's expression also slightly changed. On Su Yu's side, Xing Hong chuckled. "You're courting death. You've angered Tian Mie. You've angered me." Tian Mie was indeed enraged. At this moment, Su Yu's voice transmission suddenly sounded in his ears. Tian Mie slightly moved, and the vicious light in his eyes instantly erupted to the extreme. A furious roar shook countless people until their ears were pierced and blood flowed out of their 7 orifices. At this moment, a long rod suddenly appeared in the sky. The ancient Heaven Destruction City nearby instantly disappeared, turning into a long rod and falling into the hands of the incomparably tall Heaven Destruction. Heaven Destruction wielded the huge rod and struck down. The sky was torn apart. At this moment, the sky was torn into 2 by this rod. The expression of the Jade King also changed drastically. Instantly, 10,000 swords became one, and a brilliant sword light shot out for thousands of miles, charging towards the huge rod. Rumble. A huge sound shook the nearby invincible experts until they felt like vomiting blood. Under everyone's shocked gazes, the huge staff smashed the long sword into pieces with a rumble. With a bang, the staff smashed down, smashing the Jade King into pieces. In the distance, a person instantly appeared, followed by a second person, and then a third person. All of them attacked the huge staff. The incomparably powerful Heaven Destruction laughed loudly, and a fierce light erupted from his eyes, piercing through heaven and earth. "A few little brats are challenging your grandfather." Nearby, the other unrivaled experts were already in disbelief. The Jade King had been destroyed, and 3 of his bodies had been destroyed. That should be the true eternal Nine Dan. Many people looked in the direction of the ancient city. There, a pitch-black passageway appeared, but there was no aura of death present. The aura of death was completely borne by Su Yu. At this moment, Su Yu's black robes fluttered in the wind, and he continued to watch with an indifferent expression. At the same time, behind him, Xing Hong snorted coldly. In the next moment, Xing Hong and Yun Xiao attacked at the same time. They charged towards the few people who had just arrived. As for Tian Mie, he was still 30,000 meters tall. His staff swept out in all directions, sweeping towards the river of time of the Jade King. At this moment, in the entire heavenly battlefield, this staff was the only one that could tear apart the void and sweep across the heavens. The Jade King. Was he very strong? Heaven Destruction was incomparably savage. In the ancient times, he was a vicious beast. Later, he was saved by Old Turtle and joined Old Turtle's spirit suppression manor. He became a general under Old Turtle's command. Even King Dong had to laugh a few times when he saw him, so that Old Turtle could suppress his temper. His personality was too hot-tempered. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2774, Chapter 2774, Chapter 589 Battle. 2. Chapter 2774, Chapter 589 Battle. 2. 100,000 years. Having been suppressed for 100,000 years, this moment of destruction was incomparably powerful. With another sweep of the staff, Xing Hong and the others moved to block those experts who had just arrived. Boom! Another explosive sound rang out. In the void, an incomparably powerful longsword was broken with a rumble. That was the Jade King's longsword. Bastard! A furious roar rang out. In an instant, the Jade King's river of time moved and disappeared from its original location. In the blink of an eye, it reappeared thousands of kilometers away. In the next moment, a young expert was resurrected. That was the Jade King. Young, powerful, domineering, and outstanding. However, at this moment, he was a little weak and pale. His aura instantly slipped down, bringing with it some fury. His 3 bodies had been destroyed, and his heavenly weapon had also been destroyed. Heaven's destruction, bastard. At this moment, Heaven's destruction's murderous aura did not diminish. It was as if he wanted to kill him. However, Suyu spoke at this moment. He smiled and said, Lord Heaven's destruction, please calm down. There are plenty of opportunities to kill people. There's no hurry for now. You're just a small fry. There's no hurry for now. Humph. Tianmie snorted coldly and instantly returned to his original position. The long rod disappeared and once again turned into an ancient city that was suppressed on the spot. As for Xing Hong, Yun Xiao, and the others, they returned one after another. The 35 stone sculptures once again returned to Suyu's back. At this moment, Suyu looked around and looked in the direction where those restless people were about to erupt. He smiled lightly and said, since the seniors are here, come out and show yourselves and speak properly. Jade King, this piece of trash who doesn't know society and is being beaten up, don't embarrass yourself. In the distance, Jade King's eyes were cold as he looked at Suyu. As for Suyu, he also looked in that direction. He chuckled and said, why? Are you not convinced? In terms of qualifications, the people behind me are much older than you. In terms of strength, you can't even take a single strike from Heaven's destruction. In terms of talent, even if Suyu, lie down and don't cultivate, I should still be a little stronger than you. A trash who hasn't even reached the Daemerge at the 7th tide, what are you looking at me for? Silence. Behind them, Heaven's destruction and the others were also feeling a little uncomfortable. Suyu transmitted his voice, seniors, you're different. You need to suppress the undead passageway. It's different from those trash. Once these words were said, the guards felt relieved. That was true. However, many of the invincible experts around them had strange looks in their eyes. There were some unspeakable grievances and discomfort. Did the 7th tide flow have to reach the Daemerge? If it was as simple as reaching the Daemerge, the half-emperor realm wouldn't be like this. It was truly unbearable. In the distance, the Jade King looked at Suyu coldly. Suyu, on the other hand, looked down on him with disdain. He smiled contemptuously and stopped looking at him. This was even more unbearable than killing the Jade King. He said coldly, you humans, the 7th tide flow, this king has killed a total of 7 eternal kings. Suyu said indifferently, is that so? You immortals, right now, one have killed more than 7 immortal kings. I can't even be bothered to count them. I have killed 5 in the Starry Manor and 2 more just now. Last time, one remember that one also killed one. You immortals have many kings. I want to see when I can kill 100. Suyu's smile was gentle, and he was not angry at all. He looked around again. Seniors, are you unwilling to show yourself? Or do you feel that Suyu, am not qualified? A moment later, ancient existences appeared in the air around them. Soon, some of the unrivaled experts on the other side began to tremble. In a short while, the unrivaled experts of each race began to fly toward their respective ancient existences. That's right, ancient existences. There were experts from the 9th tide flow, and geniuses from the 8th tide flow. This time, a total of 10 ancient existences appeared in the air. They were all at the later stage of the eternal realm, and they came from various races, including gods, devils, and immortals. After a while, the Jade King returned, and 4 experts appeared beside him. Including the Jade King, there were a total of 5 experts, and they were all incredibly powerful. The Jade King's expression was unsightly. He had just come out, and his entire body had been destroyed by Tianmie. His domineering, mysterious appearance had been shattered in an instant. At this moment, he didn't know how to speak. At the rear, the great Qin King and the others were left alone. It was very safe. All the experts had been attracted away by Su Yu's side. Su Yu's side was an incomparably powerful faction. No one dared to be careless, and no one cared about what happened to the human race anymore. Compared to the great Xia King and the others, these guards were even more troublesome. The great Qin King quickly met up with the great Xia King and the others. The great Xia King let out a sigh of relief. Not bad, they were safe. The great Qin King was too lazy to say anything else. He looked at Xia Longwu and Qin Zhen and sent a voice transmission, "The few of you, take the others and leave immediately. Return to the East Rift Valley." "Father." The great Qin King glared at Qin Zhen, who had sent a voice transmission, and Qin Zhen trembled in fear. The great Qin King sent another voice transmission, "Leave now. Longwu, Qin Zhen, the few of you, leave. It's too late for you to reach the Tao manifestation stage. Go to the East Rift Valley and help old Zhou guard the East Rift Valley. Don't leave." Then Xia Longwu hesitated and sent a voice transmission, "I'll stay." "No, you go back. Old Zhou isn't weak, but he doesn't know how to lead troops, so he can't boost morale. In a war, it's still a battle of dominance and morale. Go." Xia Longwu frowned, cupped his fists, and quickly left with the others. Qin Town was somewhat reluctant, but there was nothing he could do. He was afraid of his father's words, so he could only leave with them. And now that they were leaving, no one would stop them. This was also the best time. The Darming King and the great Xia King looked at the great Qin King. At this time, even the few human experts who didn't know about this were a little strange. This wasn't the Darming King. Otherwise, how could the great Xia King and the others be so honest? You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2775, Chapter 2775, Chapter 589, War Begins. 3. Chapter 2775, Chapter 589, War Begins. 3. After all, they had been old friends for many years. Soon, the Tang King and the others had strange looks in their eyes. They probably recognized the great Qin King and were shocked. This audacity was just fooling around. If something happened inside, it would be a huge mess. They almost cursed the great Ming King and the others. Unfortunately, now was not the time to curse. The great Xia King quickly sent a voice transmission, "Old Qin, what do you think we should do?" The great Qin King looked around, he sent a voice transmission, "Wait. He can hold them off, so don't interfere. I know what he's thinking. He doesn't want to involve the human race in this. Otherwise, there's no need for him to stand out. I accept this favor, and you guys have to accept it as well. If it wasn't for him this time, I'm afraid I wouldn't have been able to come out alive. He would have come out long ago. It was only for us that he stood out and exposed everything." After saying this, he said, "L won't force you. Those who are willing to stay, stay. Don't attack for now and just watch. If there are too many experts coming, kill them with me." The unrivaled experts felt their hearts tremble slightly. Very quickly, they felt as if they had returned to the past, and all of them replied with voice transmissions, "Yes." If the great Qin King said to kill, then kill. Back then, it had been like this. Back then, no one was willing to submit to anyone. Back then, it was the great Qin King who stood out and attacked everyone one by one. In the end, he walked onto the stage covered in injuries and shouted, "Follow me and kill." As a result, there was a history of 400 years of human resistance. Today, they had a vague feeling that they were going to kill again. They were going to resist once more. On the human side, a few unrivaled experts moved. Not long after, 7 or 8 unrivaled experts appeared around them. Someone said coldly, "If the human race doesn't want to be exterminated now, then behave yourself." It's time to return to the East Rift Valley. Then return as soon as possible. That's right, they had been chased out. Previously, they weren't willing to let them leave. But now, even if these people were added together, they wouldn't be as troublesome as Su Yu's group. But today, Su Yu had displayed such strength. Most likely, the various great clans wouldn't be able to rest and eat in peace. They definitely wouldn't let this matter rest. The appearance of more than 10 elders was proof of this. A great battle was about to break out at any moment. Su Yu didn't care about that side. At this moment, he was enduring the boundless aura of death. However, he didn't open the heaven's gate to absorb it. Instead, he allowed the aura of death to spread out. Good thing. It wasn't like he too, where opening a passage of the aura of death required a little accumulation. Look at me, enduring the aura of death from the 36 cities. I can have as much as I want. I don't even need Xingyu to pay much. The main thing was that he needed to locate and open the death aura passage on Star Moon and the others' heads. Su Yu looked around. At this time, experts were everywhere, one after another. Not to mention the demonic immortal Long Ming, Tian Yuan, the immemorial giant, the ancient Ho, the iron-eating clan, the phoenix race. The various great clans all came one after another. More and more experts appeared. On Su Yu's side, Tian Mie and the others were restless as their blood and qi soared into the sky. Many people looked at Su Yu and transmitted their voices continuously. As for Su Yu, he wasn't in a hurry to make a move. If he made a move now, it wouldn't be easy to fight him. Wait a bit longer. After one opened the undead passageway, one can open it at any time. I have to pull a group of people into the undead domain. If I want to pit them, I'll pit them. If one want to kill them, I'll kill them to my heart's content. At the very least, I'll be able to kill them until they're terrified. They won't dare to cause trouble for me every few days. This time, there were even more experts than before. When the human race erupted last time, most of them were invincible. However, this time, almost all of them were at the high level. A few of them might have fallen from the high level, but they were still at the high level in the past. Such a huge force was not something that the humans of today could compare to. Hence, when dealing with Su Yu, many experts, ancient experts, came. In the air, many ancient halls appeared. It was not just the heaven-hunting pavilion. In the myriad treasures building, a golden and resplendent hall appeared. Soon, General Duo Bao stepped into the hall and looked down. Not long after, another grand hall appeared. Within the grand hall, a rotting expert appeared, causing the surrounding experts to be shocked. More and more experts appeared. Everyone's aura was locked onto Su Yu. After an unknown period of time, the space on the immortal side was torn apart once again. An extremely old woman walked out. The old woman had her back hunched as she looked at Tian Mie and the others. She held a walking stick in her hand and her spirit wasn't bad. She smiled lightly and said, "Seniors, Hanxiang pays her respects." Immortal King Hanxiang. The old woman's self-introduction surprised even Tian Mie. He looked at her and said in surprise, "It's you. I really didn't recognize you. When you were young, you were very beautiful. How did you become like this?" Immortal King Hanxiang smiled. "Seniors, you are all very powerful. After all, I am a junior and my strength is slightly weaker. So many years have passed and I was unable to maintain my appearance back then. I was also helpless. Sorry for making a fool of myself." Beside Su Yu, Yun Xiao transmitted his voice. "Be careful, Hanxiang. The fifth tide, a peerless genius of the immortal race. During that era, the geniuses of the other races were all smitten by her. She once had an ill-fated relationship with a genius of the fifth tide of your human race. In the end, Hanxiang killed that genius of your human race. The failure of the human race at the fifth tide had a lot to do with Hanxiang. Su Yu smiled and understood. How strong is she? Su Yu asked. Yun Xiao was silent for a while. He sent a voice transmission. L shouldn't be able to defeat her. Tianmi can only barely win by one. She is even stronger than the Jade King. If I calculate it, she might be even stronger than the great Xia King of your human race. Su Yu was slightly shocked. She was really strong. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2776, Chapter 2776, Chapter 589, War Begins. Subscribe to subscribe, 4. Chapter 2776, Chapter 589, War Begins. Subscribe to subscribe, 4. The Great Xia King. The human race was ranked second. Of course, Su Yu felt that there was someone stronger, but no matter what, the Great Xia King was one of the pillars of the human race. This Han Xiang was actually stronger than the Great Xia King. Didn't Yun Xiao mean that there wasn't much of a difference between this person and the Great Qin King? On the immortal side, including the other races, they all looked towards Han Xiang. They were all waiting for someone with sufficient status and strength to make the decision. At this moment, Han Xiang had come out. Obviously, she was the one. In the treatment of Su Yu and the treatment of the human race, the various races were still united. They did not appear on the battlefield to fight for power. The old rules, who was in charge, who contributed the most, who faced the strongest, this was the tacit understanding of the 10,000 races for many years. At this moment, that Han Xiang fairy, perhaps she should be called the Old Woman. She looked at the guards with a smile on her face. She said softly, the sacred city has not interfered in the affairs of the 10,000 races for many years. Everyone is a meritorious person in the 10,000 worlds. What you all want is nothing more than freedom. General Hong Meng can be appointed as the guardian. If you don't mind, the various races of the immortals, gods, and devils can contact each race and use the parliamentary order. In addition to General Hong Miang's appointment, we can rotate the position of guardian with all of you. Although Han Xiang is weak, she is willing to share some of the pressure for all of you. The immortals are willing to take up the position of guardian of the 12 cities. Immortal King Han Xiang laughed lightly. The immortals have long had this intention. It's just that General Hong Meng is unwilling. If you don't believe me, you can ask General Hong Meng if his words are false. The guards were silent. Was this considered sowing discord? The immortals said that they had long mentioned that they were willing to take on the duty of guarding the 12 cities. However, Old Turtle rejected them. If that was the case, then the culprit who had imprisoned them for 100,000 years was actually Old Turtle. Su Yu smiled from the side. Immortal King Han Xiang, does that mean that Lord Hong Meng has harmed all the guards? Don't have such intentions. General Hong Meng might have his own misgivings. After all, he was only a conferred general in the ancient times, not a marquis or king. If he were to confer a large number of guards again, perhaps there might be some trouble. It's understandable. Han Xiang had a smile on her face. She was not displeased or impatient because of Su Yu's words. Su Yu smiled. He was very difficult to deal with. He was not in a hurry to use force, but to use force. The immortals were arrogant. Now, they were finally a little more clear-headed and began to be gentle. They were arrogant because they had not been beaten up for many years. Now that some old antiques had come out, the immortals finally saw the situation clearly. Su Yu smiled and said, since Immortal King Han Xiang has said so. Su Yu looked around, he smiled and said, how about this, each race will send out 35 experts above Eternal 7th stage now. I will go and persuade Lord Hong Meng. Right now, the positions of the guards can be given up. If Immortal King Han Xiang doesn't believe me, I will go and ask Lord Hong Meng right now. I guarantee that Lord Hongmeng is willing to do it. As soon as these words were said, Old Turtle's voice sounded in the air. It was extremely calm. I have no objections to Suyu's words. Right now, gather all the council members and each race will send out 35 experts above the 7th stage of the Eternal Realm. Today, I will appoint 35 guards. Immortal King Hanxiang's eyes flickered, and Suyu said calmly, "Do you hear me? Now, immediately. There's no need to say anything more. I think that each race has 35 level 7 Eternal Emperors, and we should be able to gather all of them." Suyu said calmly, "It's useless to say it out loud. I also said that one want to be an immortal king, and that the heavens will not allow it. Otherwise, I will lead the immortal race to become the number 1 race in the heavens. It's fine if the heavens won't agree, but if they agree, I will say, F*CKU. Silence. A killing intent appeared in Han Xiang's eyes. She quickly suppressed it and returned to her smile. Suyu, you are a heaven's chosen. In this tide, you should be the most outstanding person in the human race. You are even more outstanding than the great Qin king. Suyu nodded, "That's right, thank you for your praise. The great Qin king is inferior to me, the great Zhou king is inferior to me, and the great Xia king is inferior to me. The truth. If you don't believe me, you can ask the great Xia king and the others over there. Are they more powerful than me? Are they more capable than me?" In the distance, the great Xia king's lips twitched as he ignored her. Suyu looked at Han Xiang once again, he smiled and said, "Is there anything else you want to say? If you were a few tens of thousands of years younger, you could be the same as back then, just like the 5th tide. You could be a piece of trash that can be ridden by tens of thousands of people. Seduce me and see if I can be seduced by you. Isn't there an idiot among us humans that you've seduced? Try and see if one, Suyu, will take the bait. Hanxiang, come over here. I'll kiss you. We'll be a family. I'll dote on you, okay?" Around him, the expressions of some old antiques changed slightly. Suyu was really audacious. He really had no scruples. He was really lawless. He dared to say anything and do anything. Behind him, the guards all had strange expressions on their faces. Suyu, on the other hand, was smiling lightly, "Save your trouble. Drive a wedge, provoke a general, seduce a beauty, backstab a general, sow discord, seduce, intimidate, intimidate. These are all useless. 1 am young, and I don't have much knowledge. However, my master once taught me to deal with those who talk too much. One look and I can tell that they are not good people. One look and one can tell that they are sinister, this kind of people, they speak directly with their fists. I'm sorry, I'm also the kind of person who talks too much. I've liked to read people's expressions since I was young, and I like to use my brain to deal with people. One don't really like to use force, you guys do this to me. If one can say it, I'll say it. If I can't say it, I'll use my fists. What do you think of this method?" Once these words were said, everyone became even more peculiar. Once these words were said, it was the end. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2777, Chapter 2777, Chapter 589 Battle begins. 5. Chapter 2777, Chapter 589 Battle begins. 5. There was nothing more to say. Han Xiang sighed, "Suyu, the human race has failed 9 times. Do you think there will be a 10th time?" At this moment, the auras of the experts in the surroundings soared. Suyu glanced at them. There were many unrivaled experts. Not only were they from the major clans, but some of the unrivaled experts from the smaller clans were also present. He didn't know if they had been coerced or if they had taken the initiative to participate. Among them, he even saw the Black Armor King. What a surprise! There was only one king in this clan, and he actually dared to come. Thinking about it carefully, he smiled. It seemed like it was normal for him to come. Su Yu will seek revenge for the smallest grievance, and one have killed countless people. It would be strange if he wasn't afraid of killing a few undefeatable warriors today. Since he was afraid and couldn't hide, then he would kill Su Yu. This was the solution. He was still decisive. He didn't continue to hide. At this moment, Han Xiang's hunched back gradually straightened. She looked at Tianmia and the others and said softly, "Guards, are you really not willing to take a step back? To be enemies with the 10,000 races, 9 tide flows, have you not seen through it?" Tianmia's eyes erupted with a fierce light as he said coldly, "Han Xiang, you want to try my big stick?" Su Yu glanced at Tianmia and saw the ominous glint flickering in his eyes. Forget it, he didn't want to think too much about it now. Han Xiang smiled, "Senior Tianmia is incomparably powerful, Han Xiang has no fortune to enjoy it. Why don't we invite General Duo Bao to spar with Senior Tianmia?" In the air, the rich and imposing General Duo Bao had a rich expression on his face. Upon hearing this, he laughed lightly and sighed, "I've known brother Tianmia for many years. Han Xiang, now that you mention it, it'll be very difficult for me to do so." Han Xiang said respectfully, "General, my emperor said that after taking down Tianmia, he's willing to lend the immortal Emperor Steel to you to observe a tidal wave." Duo Bao was silent for a moment before he looked at Tianmia and walked out of the Myriad Treasures building. He sighed, "Brother Tianmia, I used many treasures to achieve my Tao, but because of the many treasures, I was unable to step into the Daemerge. The immortal Emperor Steel might be able to help me step into the Daemerge. Since ancient times, I can't wait any longer." Tianmia's expression was solemn. This was a conferred general from ancient times. Back then, he was just one step away from stepping into the Daemerge. It had been 100,000 years, and he was still the same. Back then, their strength was about the same. Now, he had been guarding the Tao Merge for 100,000 years. His opponent's first tide flow had been injured by he too, and he had also been recuperating for countless years. At this moment, the two of them were evenly matched. It was hard to say who would emerge victorious. Tianmia took a deep breath. He was no longer as ruthless as before. He transmitted his voice to Su Yu, "Be careful. Duo Bao is not easy to deal with. I'll try my best to take him down. Even if I can't, I'll try my best to stall him." Even the proud Tianmia had said these words. It was obvious that his opponent was really not easy to deal with. Su Yu did not mind, he smiled and cupped his hands. "I'll wish for your victory. There's no need to be anxious if you can't kill him. General Duo Bao, Bao Duo. One like such people. Your Excellency can't kill him this time. If I don't die and he interferes with my affairs today, I will definitely settle the score with him." In the distance, Duo Bao's expression changed slightly. The words of a peerless heaven's favorite like Su Yu wouldn't be false. If he didn't die, when his strength reached its peak, he would definitely settle the score with him. No one would treat such words as a joke. General Duo Bao had a distressed expression on his face as he sighed, "The human race is as overbearing as ever. However, the path of Tao is the same. Forget it, forget it. If I really can't kill you, I'll just wait for death." Su Yu smiled, "General, you're too polite. It's still early." Duo Bao was even more distressed. He looked towards the celestial race and sighed, "Add another tide, or else, I'll leave. Tianmia is worth one, Su Yu is worth one." Han Xiang frowned slightly and quickly nodded, "Sure. Brother Tianmia, clear it." Duo Bao sighed and waved his hand. The void tore apart. Outside, it was an endless dark void, which was also suitable for them to fight. Tianmie's expression changed. Suyu smiled and said, "My lord, bring your big stick. I don't want to kill him, but please beat him until he knows what pain is." Tianmie's expression changed slightly as he looked at Suyu. Without saying anything else, he waved his hand. The ancient city that he had just returned to turned into a big stick once again and fell into his hand. In the distance, Duo Bao sighed again. How troublesome. With a weapon, Heaven's destruction was even stronger than he was now. Heaven's destruction laughed coldly. Duo Bao, today, I will beat you until you call me grandpa. If you don't call me grandpa, then this battle will not end. Boom! The void was torn apart, and Heaven's destruction instantly disappeared from his original spot. Stepping into the boundless void, he held the club with both hands. The void had yet to be sealed, and a shocking boom rang out, shaking the heavens and earth. As the club smashed down, it caused the boundless void to riot. Rumble. In the blink of an eye, endless rumbling sounds could be heard. The illusory image of Heaven Extinguisher covered the heavens and earth. It was incomparably powerful, and when it went up, it was an incomparably frenzied slaughter. As for myriad treasures, he truly lived up to his name as an ancient conferred general. Countless treasures floated in the air, continuously attacking Heaven Extinguisher. The two sides instantly engaged in battle, but Heaven Extinguisher was truly savage. He had held back for 100,000 years, and this time, his attack was incomparably savage. In the blink of an eye, he let out an explosive roar, and his staff smashed down, causing myriad treasures' golden body to explode. However, very quickly, the shattered golden body returned to normal. The myriad realms only heard the cursing of multi-treasure. F***ck, Tian Gu, 3 tide flows. Otherwise, this general will leave immediately. All right. Tian Gu's voice rang out from afar. He agreed. Because Tianmie was really not to be trifled with. In the next moment, on Su Yu's side, Xing Hong and Yun Xiao took a deep breath and looked at Su Yu. Su Yu nodded slightly. The two of them looked at Han Xiang. Yun Xiao laughed coldly. Little slut, go play with this great ant. Su Yu gave a thumbs up. Aunt Yun Xiao was mighty. Han Xiang's expression also changed slightly as she looked at her coldly. Very soon, she tore through the void and stepped into the void, waiting for her and Xing Hong to enter. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2778, Chapter 2778, Chapter 589 Battle Begins. 6. Chapter 2778, Chapter 589 Battle Begins. 6. The two of them didn't hesitate and instantly stepped into the void, disappearing from the spot. Around them, those old antiques walked out one by one. Both sides had an extremely tacit understanding. One after another, the invincible ancient guardians stepped into the void and disappeared beside Su Yu. Gradually, there were fewer and fewer people. In the end, there were only 3 ancient guardians left by Su Yu's side. And around him, there were more than 10 invincible guardians. These 3 guardians had no intention of leaving. Su Yu was the key. Without Su Yu, they would not be able to leave the city. At this moment, even though they were surrounded by the invincible guardians, they did not leave. On the human side, the great Qin king looked around. At this moment, there were many invincible guardians surrounding them, including the Tao king whose body had been destroyed, the white-haired godly king of the celestial race, and the Moj demon king of the demon race. They were all experts. There were a total of 15 unrivaled experts surrounding them. The 10,000 races had mobilized their forces to kill Su Yu. The heavens had destroyed them, and they had taken away 17 or 18 old antiques. There were also close to 30 unrivaled experts, and there were already 50 top-tier experts over there. There were still more than 10 experts here, and there were also more than 10 experts from Su Yu's side. In order to kill Su Yu, they had used more than 80 invincible experts. From the looks of it, it might not be as many as last time, but the quality was top-notch, and there were many who were at least level 7 Eternal Realm. The white-haired godly king looked at the great Xia king and said in a deep voice, "Everyone, think carefully. The human race can still exist now. It's not because the human race is strong, but because the various races have yet to find an opportunity to join forces. If Su Yu doesn't die, the opportunity to annihilate the human race has arrived." The great Xia king glanced at him and said calmly, "You crippled your whole life. Do you really think you have the right to be arrogant in front of us? We can give it a try." At this moment, an ancient existence walked out from behind him. It was an old godly monarch whose hair was even whiter than his. He stepped out of the air and looked at the great Xia king and the others. "Do you guys want to make a move?" The great Xia king's expression changed. 6 wings. The king of the 6-winged celestial race. An absolute king. An existence comparable to Bloodfire was even older than Bloodfire. The 6-winged godly king looked at them and said calmly, "Retreat to the East Rift Valley. Everything will be fine. Otherwise, you will bear the consequences." In the crowd, the great Qin king looked at Su Yu, who was still calm and collected, and took a deep breath. Leave? Where to? If he left now, the 10 or so invincible experts would soon go to kill Su Yu. On Su Yu's side, no one would be able to stop the 6-winged divine king. Ultimate killing realm. The 10,000 races had gone mad. Were they preparing to take down all the guardians in one fell swoop? It was only today that the great Qin king realized that the 10,000 races had so many existences at the eternal realm. From the looks of it, they had not used their full strength in the past. They couldn't retreat. He turned to look at the human realm experts and then at his old brothers. He smiled, and his smile wasn't as stiff as before. "One more time. I'll listen to you. As usual, you have the final say on the battlefield." The unrivaled experts replied. The smile on the great Qin king's face was brilliant, and in the next moment, it disappeared and turned cold. A roar resounded through the heavens and earth. A long blade pierced through the void and slashed down. This blade was extremely powerful, and it wasn't weaker than his previous peak battle strength. Slash! Slash! Everyone thought that he was the great Ming king, but in the end, he welcomed a blade technique that was even more powerful than the great Xia king's. Those unrivaled experts were instantly sliced apart by him. One of the unrivaled experts couldn't dodge in time, and with a slash, one of his 3 bodies was sliced apart. A great battle erupted. The great Xia king and the others all attacked one after another. The sky collapsed and the earth cracked, and the void shattered. In the blink of an eye, a group of people entered the endless void. Today, they would kill to their heart's content. I'm really speechless. At this moment, Su Yu sighed. What are you doing? I was just waiting for them to come. PM opening the undead passageway. Great Qin King, you guys are making things difficult for me. Is the undead passageway still open? Open. This thing might only have one chance to kill them. There were only 10 or so unrivaled experts outside, and he still had 3 guards on his side. They were all stronger than him, and he wasn't weak either. There was no need to open it. What a dilemma. Lord Chongping. Shall we play with them? Su Yu smiled, and the guards also smiled and nodded slightly. Then, let's play with them. Boom. A loud sound rang out, and the 3 unrivaled warriors charged out, surrounding Su Yu. They intersected with the unrivaled river of time, and in the blink of an eye, the stars and waves exploded, and the waves surged into the sky. Su Yu stood in the middle, not taking the initiative to attack. His speed was not fast enough, and he was waiting for someone to come and kill him. Someone would come and kill him. He was the main character. As expected, very quickly, the unrivaled river of time extended over. Su Yu's eyes turned cold, and he punched out with a fist that shook the sky and earth. With a rumble, the river trembled, and an unrivaled warrior quickly retreated, his face filled with shock. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2779, Chapter 2779, Chapter 590 Combination Unrivaled L. Chapter 2779, Chapter 590 Combination Unrivaled L. So strong. Unrivaled grunted. Although Su Yu had killed King Heng previously, it was mostly a sneak attack. Now, Su Yu was facing him head-on. Unrivaled shouted, he only has brute force. Be careful of his space Dao. Kill him in the past and the future. Once these words were said, Unrivaled, who had attacked Su Yu, also knew how to deal with it. Su Yu's vision blurred, and a long river of time flowed over once again, surrounding him. In an instant, Su Yu's vision blurred, as if he had returned to the previous instant. This person was even more difficult to deal with than the bloody fire from before. Back then, the bloody fire was heavily injured, so the power of time wasn't too strong. However, Su Yu knew how to deal with it. The other party wanted to kill him just now. Although Su Yu wouldn't die so easily even if he was killed, it was inevitable that he would be injured. Su Yu let out a low shout and activated the slow character. With a loud bang, a crack appeared on the slow character. However, his opponent's river of time also paused for a moment. An attack that was originally not from the same dimension instantly appeared in the same dimension. Su Yu threw out a punch. The expression of that invincible expert changed slightly as he quickly controlled the river of time to flee. Su Yu's punch missed. With a kick, time trembled, and the river froze, breaking the river. Su Yu's time cultivation technique was pushed to its limits. With a kick, time seemed to freeze. In another space, the Silkworm Extermination King, who was currently fighting with someone, had an idea. He instantly looked over, and his expression changed slightly. Good kid. Su Yu had actually used brute force to break through time. Truly breaking through the Tao with brute force was something that was almost impossible to happen. Only someone as powerful as Su Yu, who didn't have much control over the laws, would be able to do such a thing. Boom! A loud bang rang out once more. In the air, Su Yu's kick directly struck the river of time. The river trembled, and with an explosive boom, it exploded. The invincible expert was once again pushed back, blood oozing out of his mouth. He was somewhat shocked. This person was also a level 5 Eternal Realm cultivator. However, his brute strength was inferior to Su Yu's. When he used his laws, he was interrupted by Su Yu several times, and at this moment, he suffered some backlash. Su Yu, you really are a monster. Su Yu looked at him and did not chase after him. It was very difficult for him to chase after the other party. Moreover, he did not want to leave. He had already located the area where Xingyu was. It was in this area, and he would not leave this area. If he opened the undead passageway here, there might be dozens of undead gathering below. Su Yu thought that there would definitely be someone who would be very satisfied. Su Yu's expression was calm. He was neither arrogant nor impatient. He looked at the other party and calmly said, "What other trump cards do you have? Take them out. It's not enough now. Can you kill me with an eternity? Evenly matched? No. The 10,000 races would not do such a thing." Since he wanted to kill Su Yu, why did he have to be evenly matched with Su Yu? As expected, another 3 unrivaled experts walked out from the void. At this moment, the other experts around Su Yu were being entangled. At this moment, the three unrivaled experts walked toward Su Yu with solemn expressions. What a good Su Yu! He had only cultivated for a few years, but he was now unrivaled in battle. There hadn't been such a monster in the countless years of the human race. Even the last human king of the tide change was not so terrifying as Su Yu's. This person must be killed. The three unrivaled warriors arrived and joined up with the unrivaled warrior from before. The four unrivaled warriors did not say a word as the four rivers of time shot towards them. Boom! A loud sound rang out again. Su Yu punched out and kept punching out. It was extremely powerful. At this moment, the heaven's gate above his head opened faintly. He wanted to explode and kill. Open the gate of heaven and kill invincible. In the heaven hunting pavilion. A few invincible figures did not make a move. At this moment, they gathered together. The four department heads of the heaven, earth, black, and yellow, the pavilion heads of the east and west, the pavilion heads of the north and south, the great elder of law enforcement, the department head of the heaven department was not around, and the department head of the yellow department was the one that Zhu Tianfang had yet to choose. 9 invincible. At this moment, including the heaven overseeing marquis, there were 7 more. This was also a powerful faction. This was especially so for the heaven overseeing marquis, who was an ancient marquis. He was extremely powerful, a true immortal soul 3rd level expert, an ancient immortal soul 3rd level expert. At this moment, everyone turned to look at the scholar. What should the heaven hunting pavilion decide? A large number of experts from each tribe had appeared. Now, both sides were invincible, with more than 100 of them participating. A large number of eternal high-level experts were participating in this battle. This battle was truly a battle of life and death, and not a simple obstruction like the last time. Those guards were all extremely frenzied. They would kill as many as they could without any intention of stopping at all. If one were to participate in such a battle, the slightest mistake would result in death. Pavilion Master. Heaven overseeing Marquis didn't make a sound. Instead, he looked at Su Yu below. When he saw the faintly discernible divine gate between Su Yu's eyebrows, a complicated look appeared in his eyes. It seemed like it. Lord King Wen, are you really a time master? Su Yu, is the heritage of your time master lineage, or is the polytheistic divine literature lineage really your direct lineage? No matter which one it was. Su Yu could be King Wen's direct lineage. The real one. If he were to inherit it, it would be even more terrifying. Could this be the next King Wen? He watched silently, not saying a word. An invincible couldn't hold it in any longer. Pavilion Master, are we going to intervene? Heavenly overseeing Marquis watched for a while and said calmly, there's no rush. Let's wait and see. Did you think this was the end? No, this was only the beginning. As expected, at this moment, willpower from all sides filled the air, as if they had reached an agreement. Suddenly, a river of sticks flowed out from the underworld. A moment later, an ancient existence walked out from the river of sticks. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2780, Chapter 2780, Chapter 590 Unrivaled Combination 2. Chapter 2780, Chapter 590 Unrivaled Combination 2. This warrior walked out with a grey crown on his head. He looked at the bottom of the sea where Old Turtle was. He was watching and waiting for Old Turtle to make a move. However, nothing happened. Old Turtle seemed to be asleep in Hongmeng Ancient City. He had no intention of making a move. At this moment, a weak fluctuation appeared near the ancient underworld river. In the next moment, a round god-devouring beast appeared. Yeah, underworld race, you stink. The underworld emperor looked at the little beast indifferently and said calmly, you want to stop me? No, no. I want to eat you. The little beast opened its mouth wide. Suddenly, it opened its mouth and swallowed the underworld river. Stinky, just lick me a few times and it won't stink anymore. Doubao, King Wen is dead. Do you still think it's the same as the past? The Emperor of the Dead was indifferent. The underworld river revolved around him. A scepter appeared in his hand and he hit Doubao with it. He said coldly, "Your clan should have been exterminated a long time ago. Do you really think you can't do anything to you? It's not the ancient times anymore." I've got it wrong. The god-devouring beast shouted. At this moment, an even bigger mouth appeared behind the Emperor of the Dead. He opened his mouth and shouted, "Doubao is here." Stinky, I've got it wrong. The Emperor of the Dead's expression changed slightly. At this moment, a sigh sounded and a powerful figure appeared at the side. He said softly, "Senior Doubao, why are you doing this?" Doubao jumped away instantly and looked at the expert who just walked out. He widened his eyes and said, "Ji Wu, you want to fight too? The two of you are so powerful. The two of us can't beat you. Divine Emperor Ji Wu." The Divine Emperor sighed and said, "One don't want to attack, but, there is no reason not to. If Su Yu is not killed, the world will be unfair. Doubao, you have lived since the ancient times and experienced 9 title changes, but you have never fought for the human race. I thought that you have forgotten the past and the ancient times are like yesterday's flowers. Why do you keep attacking this time?" Doubao and his wife both attacked. However, 2 ancient emperors had appeared. Both of them were very powerful. At the very least, the Emperor of God was stronger than the Demon Emperor, while the Emperor of the Dead was not necessarily weaker than the Demon Emperor. Under such circumstances, even though Doubao and his wife were powerful, it would be difficult for them to deal with one of them. Big Hairy Ball said in a daze, "Did I make my move? My hand is still inside. Before it came out, I made my move." The Emperor God sighed. "You know what I mean." Doubao thought for a moment and said, "Our young man is on him. If you kill him, you kill our young man. Is it still the same as it was back then? Your clan once again chose to rely on one person. Doubao, you relied on King Wen for many years. In the end, King Wen was so powerful, but he still died. How is he, Su Yu, compared to King Wen?" Doubao chuckled. Don't know. Why don't you wait and see?" As soon as he finished speaking, his mouth opened wide once again. At the same time, he said aggrievedly, "One didn't make a move just now. If you insist on making a move, then I'll make a move." With that said, 2 hands emerged from his round body and struck toward the Divine Emperor. The Divine Emperor's river of time circled around his body. He paced around in the river to avoid it. He did not engage in a fierce battle. He just kept sighing, "The human race has been destroyed, and the myriad races are at peace. Time and time again. After fighting for 100,000 years, we are all tired. It is said that gods and demons are fond of fighting, but that is also because they are forced by the human race. You only know that the human race is weak, but you have never seen how the human race could sweep across the heavens and slaughter them when they are strong." Doubao bit down, too lazy to listen. The 4 Dao fusing experts were currently fighting at the edge of the void. What was even more terrifying was that scenes of the past and the future appeared in the sky above the battle. It wasn't just the current battle. Their past and future were all fighting. It was different from the 3 movement techniques. As the 4 experts fought, the 4 long rivers of time gradually formed into one, merging into one. It was as if there were tens of thousands of them fighting on the same river. It was as if they were fighting at different nodes. Above the long river, a bean bun swallowed an emperor god in one gulp. That scene instantly disappeared. A moment later, in reality, the real bean bun swallowed the emperor god in one gulp. At the node behind. The divine emperor suddenly burst out of his stomach. The bean bun was so scared that he hurriedly spat out the divine emperor. That kind of battle made countless experts who didn't participate in the battle gasp in amazement, dumbfounded. The demon world. The demon emperor watched the battle, his gaze fluctuating. He didn't participate in the battle, nor did he make a move. He just watched the four great Tao merge battles in silence. They were all ancient existences. Compared to them, the demon emperor was a junior. The previous demon emperor had fallen, and he had inherited the position of demon emperor. Therefore, he was relatively young. However, he was young, and yet he had stepped into the Daemerge. Naturally, he was not an ordinary person. In the recent three tide transformations, very few people had stepped into the Daemerge, and he was one of them. The others were either dead or missing. There were almost no people his age who were stronger than him. Beside him, a demon king sighed and said, "Emperor, what they cultivate is not the Tao of the three bodies." The demon emperor said calmly, "El guessed it. Most of these old fellows walk the Tao of the three bodies, and each has its own advantages and disadvantages. There's no need to worry about it. The Tao of the three bodies is weaker in battle strength, but it's not without its advantages." The demon king beside him nodded slightly. That blood fire. So what if they die? In this era, there will eventually be people who will die, and many will die. It's just a matter of time. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2781, Chapter 2781, Chapter 590 Unrivaled Combination 3. Chapter 2781, Chapter 590 Unrivaled Combination 3. The demon emperor looked into the distance, he calmly said, "Let's go back. One of my three bodies has fallen, and my strength is weakened. Bloodfire has died, and the demon race's combat strength has been greatly reduced. I need to integrate the Bloodfire demon race, so, it's normal for the demon race to have no top-tier combat strength to participate in the battle. We should avoid the battle during this period of time." The demon king beside him nodded. "What about Modwa?" The demon emperor glanced into the distance and seemed to see Modwa. His luck isn't as good as Su Yu's, but it's still good. However, he's used to it. Now that Shuehua is dead, send someone to capture him. Chase him into the Sea of the Demon Domain. In the Sea of the Demon Domain, there's an old ghost who hates me toward 10,000 years. He can't wait for me to die so that Modwa can inherit his mantle. L. Huang Xingming, A.M. Wise. Beside him, the ancient devil king nodded his head and silently disappeared, going to capture Modwa. The devil emperor stared at him for a while more. Very quickly, he turned his gaze to Su Yu. After looking at him closely for a while, his figure gradually disappeared from the sky above the devil realm. Immortal realm. Tian Gu also glanced at the devil realm. He frowned slightly. Was he unwilling to make a move? Was he worried that his two bodies would be plotted against? Or was he simply unwilling to make a move? Tian Gu cast his gaze into the depths of the Sea of Stars and seemed to see Hongmeng Ancient City. A moment later, Tian Gu's face gradually appeared in the sky above Hongmeng Ancient City. As he looked at the ancient city, he said softly, "Hongmeng, you want to drag the sacred city into the quagmire of war for Su Yu? You have always been biased. I know that 100,000 years ago, you contributed quite a lot to the matter of the river map. However, won't Su Yu be the next river map?" In Hongmeng Ancient City, the old turtle appeared and looked at Tian Gu. He said calmly, "I'll only obey the rules. I control what is within the rules. One don't care what is outside the rules. Now that the ancient era has been destroyed, I am under King Gong's jurisdiction. Other than King Gong, only the human emperor can command me. Tian Gu, you can't control me." Tian Gu looked at him. "If I kill Su Yu, are you going to make a move?" If one kills Su Yu, the laws will control me. Tiangu's eyes turned cold. He is the successor of a time master. I don't know. Hong Meng, you are going against the heavens. Wrong, I am obeying the laws. Since it is the laws, then it is the heavens. I am obeying the heavens, and you are defying the heavens. Hong Meng's voice shook the heavens and earth. Tiangu, you are the traitors, the ones who are defying the heavens. Our sacred city guards are all obeying the heavens. Tiangu was speechless. Who was defying the heavens? Perhaps, Old Turtle was right. It was the myriad races that were defying the heavens. The human race had unified the heavens, which was an ancient reality. The human race was the orthodoxy. Now, killing the human race and the human races chosen was defying the heavens. Tiangu was silent for a moment before saying, I am going to defy the heavens. Hong Meng, you are not a human and are stubborn. Are you willing to let your race be suppressed by the human race? I'll only obey the heavens. They couldn't communicate. In an instant, Tiangu disappeared. Since they couldn't communicate, they couldn't communicate. He wasn't in a hurry to make a move. If he did, Old Turtle would definitely make a move. It was meaningless. Since that was the case, they had to add more people. All races lacked the Daemerge, but there were many undefeatable races. At this moment, the illusory image of Tiangu roamed the heavens. Very quickly, he appeared outside of a realm. He asked coldly, where is the Shadow King? A moment later, a shadow-like invincible figure appeared above the realm and bowed. Greetings, heavenly ancient immortal emperor. Join the battle. The Shadow King was silent for a moment. If I die in battle, the Shadow Realm is under the protection of the immortals. The heavenly ancient indifferently replied, until the Shadow Realm produces another king. The Shadow King sighed in his heart and turned his head to look at the Shadow Realm. His heart was filled with sorrow. A small clan was like this. They couldn't resist. After all, this heaven was not the heaven of a small clan. It was a god, an immortal, a devil, a dragon. It was the heaven of all the human clans, not their heaven. As you command. The Shadow King had a bitter expression on his face as he transformed into an illusory figure that vanished. Below, within the world domain, a group of Shadow Clan suns and moons rose up into the air. When they saw the Shadow King leaving this world, their eyes filled with worry. Would he be able to return? As for the heavenly ancient illusory figure, he had tens of thousands of incarnations. In the sky above the various small worlds, his figure appeared, and the countless unrivaled small clans flew helplessly toward the battlefield in the heavens. They were participating in the battle. The immortal, devil, god, dragon, and Ming were all one. If they didn't participate in the battle, they would be disobeying the great clans. Even if the small worlds were difficult to attack, they wouldn't be able to do anything to the great clans. The heavenly ancient floated in the air and watched silently. He knew that after this, the kings of the small clans might have second thoughts, but at least they didn't dare to do so now. Because right now, the 10,000 clans were one, and the humans were one. The humans didn't have the ability to resist the 10,000 clans. And the 10,000 clans, the powerful ones were the 10,000 clans. The weak ones were the vassals. One after another, the invincible ones were forced by him to participate in the battle. At the very least, before the various great clans declined, these small clans did not dare to resist. This was enough. After the end of this tide change, who knew how many people would survive? Who cared about this? Boom! The four undefeatable ones surrounded and killed Su Yu at an extremely fast speed. In the past and in the future, they were all surrounding and killing Su Yu. At this time, Su Yu was also a little powerless. He thought, why not, open the undead passageway? Just as he was thinking about this, his gaze suddenly changed as he exclaimed, "Lord Hongmeng." One of the unrivaled powers quickly turned around and saw. F***ck. There wasn't even a shadow. "You're courting death." He was furious, and Su Yu took the opportunity to kick out, causing the river of time to tremble. In the next moment, the heaven's gate opened wide. Su Yu roared and punched out. With a bang, this punch was incomparably powerful, shattering the heavens and earth. With a loud bang, that invincible figure was destroyed by his punch. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2782, Chapter 2782, Chapter 590 Unrivaled Combination 4. Chapter 2782, Chapter 590 Unrivaled Combination 4. As for Su Yu, his aura of death was extremely strong. Nearby, 3 unrivaled experts struck his body one after another. The defensive power of Su Yu's body was beyond imagination. The 3 unrivaled experts only sent him flying for 1,000 meters and caused him to spit out blood. As for Su Yu, he had actually destroyed an unrivaled 3-generation body. Under the encirclement of the 4 unrivaled experts, he had actually destroyed an unrivaled 3-generation body. What a powerful physical body! The unrivaled experts were all shocked. This physical body was truly too powerful. Very quickly, the 3 unrivaled experts surrounded him in the middle. Not long after, the 4th unrivaled expert, who had just been destroyed, flew over with a cold expression. However, he did not approach the inner circle. Instead, he circled around the outer circle, gritting his teeth. He asked, "Su Yu, how long can you last?" They had already sensed some movement. Reinforcements were coming. There were probably many of them. Today, in order to kill Su Yu, they had really mobilized a great number of people. Of course, the various great clans did not dare to go all out. That was courting death. Don't forget, there were still many unrivaled experts of the human race in the Eastern Rift Valley. The reason why Tiangu had sought out the unrivaled experts of his race to attack was to guard against the human race. At this moment, the great Zhou King was commanding dozens of invincible humans. Chen Bing was in the human immortal defense line. Once the immortals made a large move, the invincible humans would attack the immortal world and perhaps break through the immortal world. The gods and demons did not dare to go all out either. No race dared to go all out. Although the humans did not participate in many battles, the remaining invincible humans were a threat to the various regions. They did not dare to send out too many invincible humans. In the East Rift Valley, the great Zhou King was still the great Qin King. Even though the great Qin King had come out, he was still the same. At this moment, he brought many invincible soldiers close to the border of the human immortals to intimidate the immortal realm. Beside him, an invincible soldier said faintly, "The immortal race has sent out dozens of eternity, and many have died. Now, how many eternity do you think are left in the immortal realm?" The great Zhou King directly interrupted, "Only deterrence. Unless Tiangu leaves, and it's not enough for Tiangu to leave. If another 20 immortal kings appear, then we'll charge in, otherwise, it's just deterrence." As soon as these words were said, the expressions of some invincible humans changed. This time, the immortals had dispatched almost 20 immortal kings, and a bunch of them had died. From start to finish, the immortal realm had lost at least 30 immortal kings. Now, what the great Zhou King meant was, only after Tiangu and 20 immortal kings, would the humans dare to press forward. Didn't that mean, there were probably as many as 100 invincible immortals? The invincible immortals were all a little shocked. Was there really so many? Back then, when the great Qin King led his men into the immortal realm, not many people had gone. What exactly did they see? The great Zhou King did not say anything. After a while, he said in a deep voice, "All right, just do as I said." Our goal is to intimidate. Intimidate everyone, and we don't dare to press forward too much for eternity. Behind him, an invincible said in a deep voice, then now. Su Yu sighed. The great Zhou king looked at that person. What do you want to say? That invincible frowned slightly and said, what I mean is that the situation on Su Yu's side is unknown. Now, see if you can get our people to go over and find an opportunity. What opportunity? The great Zhou king looked at him. The other party was silent for a while. To be able to get Su Yu to gift the 9-leafed heavenly lotus to you and let you fuse with the Tao. The great Zhou king looked at him coldly. Do you think that's possible? The invincible expert fell silent. I have no other intentions. I just want to have one more person who can complete the Daemerge. If a great battle breaks out, at the very least, it will increase the strength of the human race and give Su Yu more support. He shouldn't be able to use it now. The great Zhou king frowned. Enough. Do you think that Su Yu will give it? Even if he does, how long will it take for him to complete the Tao merge? Then. It ends here. The great Zhou king said indifferently, there are some things that we should not mention, talk less, and think less about. Everyone was silent. No one spoke anymore. They all waited silently. Boom. Pft. Su Yu spat out a mouthful of blood. He bared his teeth and said with a smile, you're really powerful. Unrivaled is indeed unrivaled. You're really ruthless. I can only hit 5 out of 100 punches. You guys are really powerful. The 4 unrivaled experts were cold, but their hearts were shaken. Su Yu's defensive power was really too strong. In their battle, the 4 unrivaled experts had hit Su Yu many times. Su Yu rarely hit them. However, every time he hit them, it was a huge impact to them. Su Yu's opening of the heaven gate was also not continuous. He opened it intermittently. Once he was hit by the opening of the heaven gate, his 3 bodies would explode. Up till now, out of the 4 unrivaled experts, 2 of them had lost one of their 3 bodies. The remaining 2 bodies were also slightly damaged. There was no justice. This fellow was too powerful. At this moment, the 4 unrivaled experts were no longer attacking. Instead, they surrounded Su Yu, surrounding him and trapping him. They were waiting for other reinforcements to arrive to surround and kill Su Yu. At this moment, there was a loud rumble. Dark clouds covered the sky and earth. In the endless void, countless experts looked to the side. They saw the great Qin king swing his saber, turning it into a spear. The long spear roared, and with a single strike, an unrivaled power was reduced to dust. The unrivaled powers had fallen. At this moment, the great Qin king could no longer conceal his identity. He no longer concealed his identity and reverted to his original appearance. The surrounding people were shaken. The great Qin king. At this moment, the great Qin king had killed this fellow with a single strike of his spear. He also let out a slight gasp. This origin convergence saber was still powerful. The great Xia king had barely blocked the 6-winged divine king, giving him the opportunity to kill a 5th-stage eternal realm fellow on the spot with a single strike of his spear. At this moment, in front of the great Qin king, several unrivaled experts retreated one after another, their eyes filled with shock. 5th. Today, the 5th invincible expert was killed. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2783, Chapter 2783, Chapter 590 Unrivaled Combination 5. Chapter 2783, Chapter 590 Unrivaled Combination 5. Impressive. Su Yu also laughed. Looking at the 4 unrivaled experts, he suddenly widened his eyes and said, F***ck, why are you here? The 4 unrivaled experts couldn't be bothered with him. Suyu had used this move a few times. The first 3 times, everyone was still concerned, but after that. F*CKU. If there really was an expert here, they would have more or less sensed it. It was the same trick again. And at this moment, someone behind them laughed lightly. You're always fooling around. It's such a big matter, yet you still treat it as a joke. Pucci. With a light breeze, a sword pierced through an immortal king. That was the immortal king whose body had been destroyed by Suyu previously. At this moment, the second body instantly shattered. The third body had just appeared and the myriad heavenly saints slammed down with his palm. With a cracking sound, the palm was clenched, his 3 bodies exploded. Boom! Dark clouds rose once more, and a rain of blood slowly drifted down. The myriad heavenly sage walked in the long river of time and space. He looked at Suyu and shook his head with a light smile. Your brute strength isn't weak. What a pity, you're clearly a good seedling for the Tao of Rules. Why did you become a brute? He killed an invincible immortal king as if he had squashed an ant. Suyu also laughed out loud. Mannerhead, you're amazing. Where did you hide to heal your injuries just now? Fortunately, the great medicine that you asked Lan Tian to bring back is quite effective. Your injuries have mostly recovered. Wan Tiansheng gave a slight explanation. He had just gone to heal his injuries. Otherwise, he would have appeared long ago. His appearance was also filled with legend. He had killed an invincible in an instant. Although this invincible had been injured and lost a lifetime, his silent arrival still caused the other 3 invincible to be incomparably terrified. Wan Tiansheng smiled and said, kill them. Your strength lies in your brute strength. I'll tear apart their long river of time and space. It's rare for you and I to join hands to kill someone. I originally thought that you were still early. Yes, his strength lay in the laws. At this moment, an incomparably thick long river of time and space appeared, instantly wrapping around the 3 invincible long rivers of time and space and pulling them together. Kill! Wan Tiansheng shouted in a low voice, and the long sword transformed from the heart cultivation pavilion slashed out. This strike caused the world to change color. Suyu had long known that the power of Wan Tiansheng's laws was very strong, because long ago, this person had brought him through time and space to see Xinghong, a very terrifying expert. However, his explosive power wasn't too strong. He seemed to have reached the 4th or 5th level of eternity at most. If he really wanted to fight to the death, he might not be able to kill an invincible middle-level expert. However, he did not need to do so at this moment. He only needed to cut off the invincible power of time and space. As for Suyu, his eyes were also bright. Damn! Principal, give me some strength. In that case, one don't need to open the undead passageway anymore. When the myriad sage's sword slashed towards the river of time and space, Suyu also opened his heaven's gate. Suddenly, a book appeared between heaven and earth, covering the surrounding void space. Don't even think about escaping. I will beat you all to death. Without the river of time and space, what was the middle section of eternity? Suyu went all out and absorbed countless death chi. The space divine text exploded and instantly shuttled to a person. That person who was used to the teleportation of the river of time and space was now being restrained by the 10,000 heavenly saints, so he wasn't used to it for a while, he only dodged slightly. But Suyu's punch came without holding back. Boom! It was torn into pieces, and flesh and blood flew everywhere. On the other side, the 10,000 heavenly saints slightly stirred the long river of time and space, and that invincible person who was killed instantly regained one of his 3 bodies. In the end, Suyu punched out again, and his body exploded once again. No! A shrill scream resounded through the world. Rumble! Dark clouds rose up again. Not only that, at this moment, golden clouds descended from the heavens and earth. Su Yu had accumulated enough benefits to obtain the rewards of the heavens and earth. This time, Su Yu's civilization was in turmoil. Be it clouds or flesh and blood, they were all included in the book. He didn't have the time to absorb anything now. There were still 2 unrivaled figures left. Cooperating with the manor head was truly satisfying. As for the myriad heavenly sage, he was also smiling. At this moment, both of them were equally refined and elegant, their white robes fluttering in the wind. Both of them were smiling. Su Yu's explosive power was too strong. Myriad heavenly sage controlled the opponent's river of time. This was a deadly combination. Manor head, control him again. Watch me kill him. Su Yu pointed at a person. That person's expression changed drastically. Suddenly, with a roar, his body shattered and his own body shattered. His blood essence burned and instantly pierced through the void, disappearing without a trace. He ran away. Yes, he ran away. At this moment, this invincible was afraid. It was very difficult for Su Yu to hit Su Yua. He was not that afraid. Actually, he was not afraid when he fought against Myriad Sage. Myriad Sage controlled the river of time and did not have time to do anything else. However, with the 2 of them together, there was no way to fight. The other Demon King also wanted to run away and shatter his body. However, his body was shattered by Myriad Sage's sword. Su Yu punched out at the same time and said angrily, "Run your ass." The 4 unrivaled experts, were they so useless? Only 2 of them died. If one of them ran away, weren't you still here? Why run? With a loud punch, his opponent's body exploded. The 10,000 heavenly saints' river of time stirred again and accelerated the speed of his revival. His opponent instantly revived. Su Yu had already clenched his fist and was waiting for it. He punched out. Rumble. With a punch, he shattered his opponent and completely destroyed this Demon King. In the blink of an eye, it really happened in the blink of an eye. In less than 5 seconds after Wan Tianxing arrived, 3 of the 4 unrivaled experts were destroyed by Su Yu. One of them self-destructed and escaped into the depths of the void. At this moment, countless experts from all directions looked over. All of them had completely different expressions. Wan Tianxing, Su Yu. Under their combined forces, they were terrifyingly powerful. From the start, 4 unrivaled experts had died. The great Qin King had killed 1, and now, Su Yu and 10,000 heavenly saints had killed another 3. Today, unrivaled experts had fallen like rain, and in the blink of an eye, 8 unrivaled experts had been killed. At this moment, some of the unrivaled experts of the 10,000 races had already arrived. Gradually, there were 7 or 8 experts, and soon, there were more than 10 unrivaled experts. The expressions of these unrivaled experts were grim. They had just arrived. Su Yu and the Myriad Sage had joined forces and killed 3 invincible experts in the blink of an eye. Were they afraid? No one wasn't afraid. In the distance, someone sighed. The Myriad Sage controls time, and Su Yu cuts off his physical body. In my opinion, if you don't have a level 8 or 9 of eternity, don't go and court death. Yes, court death. These 2 hadn't reached the invincible realm yet. However, an ancient existence was saying that if you don't have a level 8 or 9 of eternity, don't go and court death. Their cooperation was too complementary. Su Yu's explosive power was comparable to a level 8 of eternity, and his control over the myriad heaven saints' laws was also comparable to a level 8 of eternity. If they worked together, they would not be able to last long if they were not at a level 8 or 9 of eternity. As for Su Yu, at this moment, he did not care about the invulnerability of the outer perimeter. Instead, he looked at the myriad heaven saint and took a deep breath. Head Prefect, your river of time seems to have become thicker. How did you do it? Teach me. In the face of a great battle, he was not too worried. He was as heartless as ever. Wan Tianxing smiled. What's the rush? It's not something that can be done in a short period of time. As your principal, if you don't have any skills, it's not good for you to come out and meet people. Su Yu chuckled. Old Wan was still very powerful. Without him, even if Su Yu could kill those 3 invulnerability experts, it would probably be a long time before he could do so. He had to be careful that he would not be able to turn the tables. In the end, when Wan Tianxing came, Su Yu had a great time beating him up. He was having a great time punching empty fists. But now, he was feeling great. Lao Wan was stirring up the rules, and Su Yu was beating up the unrivaled experts like he was beating up his grandson. And this unforeseen event made even more people look at them. In the immortal world, Tian Gu's expression was somewhat unsightly. The combination of Wan Tianxing and Su Yu was something he had not expected. In the end, in just a short while, when the other unrivaled experts arrived, 3 of the 4 unrivaled experts died and 1 was crippled. He turned his head to look into the depths of the immortal realm and frowned. Many immortal kings had gone out. Some more, he looked into the distance. That was the East Rift Valley. The humans were threatening them. If a large number of immortal kings went out, the humans would definitely invade the immortal realm. If he couldn't protect his nest, even if he killed Su Yu, he wouldn't be able to recover his losses. Tian Gu suppressed the irritation in his heart and looked in the direction of the heaven-hunting pavilion. You should have seen it and felt it. Even if you don't kill Su Yu, you have to be careful. In the heaven-hunting pavilion, Heaven-overseeing Marquis closed his eyes and pondered. He seemed to see King Wen, not just Su Yu, but also Wan Tianxing. These people were somewhat similar. He seemed to have seen King Wen resurrect. He saw King Wen smiling at him, and the smile made him shudder. After closing his eyes for a moment, the heaven-overseeing Marquis opened them. Go kill Su Yu. As soon as he said this, the unrivaled experts below all felt a little strange. Was he really going to make a move? Was the heaven-hunting pavilion going to go down? You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2784, Chapter 2784, Chapter 591 The Great Yin King. Chill Monthly Vote L. Chapter 2784, Chapter 591 The Great Yin King. Chill Monthly Vote L. Were there any experts in the heaven-hunting pavilion? There were many. Both the North and South Pavilion Masters and the West Pavilion Masters were very strong. Zhu Tianfang's mid-level eternal strength was only the head of the Huang division in the heaven-hunting pavilion. Zhou Tianyuan was stronger than Zhu Tianfang and was the head of the Xian division. The Xian and Huang divisions were the last of the invincible existences in the heaven-hunting pavilion. At this moment, when the heavenly supervisor Marquis said that he was going to kill Su Yu, the experts of the heaven-hunting pavilion were shocked. They had watched the 9 tide flows from the sidelines. Today, the heaven-hunting pavilion was going to die. The ancient city chose Su Yu and Su Yu, but it didn't mean that they chose the human race. However, the heaven-hunting pavilion chose to kill Su Yu, which meant that they drew a clear line with the human race. The few experts were silent for a moment. Very soon, the great elder of law enforcement said in a deep voice, "Kill. Then kill Su Yu. This person has killed many elders of our law enforcement department." Heaven-overseeing Marquis did not want to say anything more. He waved his hand lightly. Other than him, there were 6 other unrivaled experts in this place. Among them, the South Tower Tower Lord and the West Tower Lord were existences at the eternal high level. With such combat strength, once they joined forces, they could change many things. At the very least, with Su Yu and the myriad Heaven Sage joining forces, their powerful stance would be changed. These few people were enough to suppress these 2 people. The few invincible experts didn't say anything more and disappeared from their spots. Heaven Hunting Pavilion was going to participate in the battle. As for Heaven Overseeing Marquis, he cast his gaze into the distance, sinking into his memories and confusion. Did L still choose this path? He thought of many, many years ago. King Wen had asked him, if one day he died or disappeared, would he favor the Heaven Overseeing Pavilion? His answer was very clear and very certain. Definitely. And now, it had been 100,000 years. The first 3 out of the first 9 tides, he was waiting, looking forward, thinking of King Wen's return. He had been disappointed by the 3 tide flows in the middle. He had hesitated. He had been hesitating. He could not wait for King Wen. The 7th tide flow had begun. He felt that King Wen would not be able to return. Thus, the 7th tide flow had begun. He had begun to refine the heaven hunting list. 60,000 years. 60,000 years after King Wen's death, he had made a betrayal move. He was afraid of King Wen. If he was not afraid, he would not have waited 60,000 years. Even though it was said that King Wen was dead, he still waited for 60,000 years. He had been doing his own thing since the 7th tide. It was also from that time that Heaven Overseeing Pavilion officially changed its name. Originally, it was just called the Heaven Hunting Pavilion in private, but when it reached the 7th tide, the Heaven Hunting Pavilion became the official name. In the void, Su Yu was bearing more and more death qi. His white robe turned completely black. He looked into the distance and frowned slightly. Wan Tianxing didn't change his expression as he transmitted his voice. Trouble seems to be here. Something is happening. At this moment, the 2 of them, one black and one white, were like the black and white twin demons. The surrounding small clans were stunned and didn't dare to step forward rashly. They were all hesitating. However, Su Yu also felt danger. He and Wan Tianxing had probably already touched some people's defenses. Just as he was thinking, the void rippled. 6 extremely powerful existences revealed themselves. All of them had golden faces covering their faces. Heaven Hunting Pavilion. Su Yu sighed. Heaven Hunting Pavilion. Heaven Overseeing Marquis had made his choice. As for the 10,000 heavenly saints, his expression changed at this moment. He coldly said, the Heaven Hunting Pavilion has been neutral for countless years. As a third party, being mysterious is your life-saving asset. It's an existence similar to the ancient city. Now, is the Heaven Hunting Pavilion going to make a choice? The appearance of the 6 experts also made many people sigh in relief. The Heaven Hunting Pavilion had made a move. It was not just these few people. The key was that the Heaven Overseeing Marquis was going to make a move. Since he had already met his end, he would not hesitate to make a move. An ancient Marquis, perhaps the existence with the highest status among the remaining ancient figures, was going to make a move. This made countless people excited. On the Heaven Hunting Pavilion side, the Great Elder of Law Enforcement said indifferently, we are only targeting Su Yu. Su Yu killed our pavilion's elder indiscriminately. Su Yu smiled. Those words, Senior Zhu Tianfang killed him. How can you blame me? PM so wronged. L even led the Heaven Hunting Pavilion and made a name for myself. Up until now, I'm still an elder of the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. Is my family going to fall out with me? The Great Elder of Law Enforcement was speechless and did not say anything more. Since he had already ended up like this, saying more would be a joke. The void rippled and the river of time connected together. The Great Elder of Law Enforcement looked at the invincible warriors outside and said in a deep voice, if you don't dare to go forward, please use the law of time to disturb the 10,000 heavenly saints. As soon as he said this, the invincible warriors of the small clans were overjoyed. This was possible. In an instant, 16 river of time pierced through the heaven and earth, covering the heaven and earth. Not counting the 6 members of the heaven-hunting pavilion. This long river of time was like a silk thread, enveloping the entire void. Interfering with the 10,000 heavenly saints. This wasn't too difficult. No matter how strong the 10,000 heavenly saints were, they were only a non-invincible existence. In fact, if they really wanted to kill them, the 16 invincible existences would be able to kill Su Yu and the others. The crux was, who would want to be their scapegoat? Now that the heaven-hunting pavilion was willing to contribute, that was the best. Su Yu took a deep breath. Heaven's gate appeared on his forehead. Trouble had arrived. Then he would open the undead passageway. There were so many experts, and he definitely couldn't do anything to them. Neither he nor the 10,000 heavenly saints could do anything. The crux of the matter was, how would he beat these bastards down? It wouldn't be easy to beat them down. Or I could intentionally open up a passageway and drill my way in, letting these fellows follow me in. I'm just afraid that they won't enter. In the void, Su Yu retrieved the civilization's will. At this moment, the civilization's will became even brighter. More than 300 phantoms appeared. They were all at the sun-moon tier. Among them, there were 3 pages of gods, demons, and immortals. The phantoms had the strength of the 6th or 7th level of the sun-moon tier. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2785, Chapter 2785, Chapter 591, The Great Yin King. Kchu Monthly 2. Chapter 2785, Chapter 591, The Great Yin King. Kchu Monthly 2. But it was still not enough. It was still very weak. Even with more than 300 phantoms, it could barely block 1 or 2 invincible attacks. Su Yu took the Wenming Ji but did not use it himself. The Wenming Ji instantly turned into a white robe and landed on Wan Tianqing's body. Wan Tianqing glanced at him and Su Yu smiled. Mannerhead, your physical body is too weak. Both he and Wan Tianqing only had 1 life. Wan Tianqing smiled. Am I very weak? Well, compared to Su Yu, his physical body was indeed a little weak. This heavenly weapon was extremely powerful. As soon as it entered his body, Wan Tianqing knew that it could at least block a few attacks from the middle section of eternity. Wan Tianqing took a deep breath and looked at the few invincible enemies that surrounded him. He did not look at Su Yu. Instead, he smiled and said, "What realm are you at now?" "My body is Ling Yun, a civilized master of mountains and seas." Ling Yun. Wan Tianqing laughed bitterly. Ling Yun is fighting mountains and seas. You little brat, you've tricked me. Su Yu knew what he meant. He smiled. The aura of death pervaded the air. It was not my fault. You wanted to see the future yourself. What does it have to do with me? Forget it. As the head of the mansion, I'll teach you how to use the rules today. Wan Tianqing laughed. We civilized masters should be the best at utilizing the power of laws. You are a fake product, watch me. As he finished speaking, Wan Tianqing let out a low shout, and countless wills gathered in the air. In the next moment, the river of time and space was torn apart by him. Following which, he brought Su Yu and stepped onto the river. He smiled, "Come up, don't be afraid. Just like last time, I will bring you to travel through the past, present, and future, and kill the 3 of them. The 3 body techniques are the most rubbish. We'll fight against their past and future in the river of time. We don't have any past and future bodies, so we're not afraid of them fighting against each other." Su Yu laughed and instantly stepped into the river of time. He and myriad heaven sage instantly appeared in a long river. They were like small boats floating in the waves. At this moment, a total of 22 rivers of time came pressing down. In this thick river, 22 branches opened up. One Tiansheng pulled Su Yu and instantly disappeared into a long river. Above the long river, an incomparably huge frog was floating. When he saw them, his expression changed. He turned pale with fright and instantly cut off the long river. One Tiansheng took the initiative to connect with Su Yu and instantly killed his way over. In the long river of time, the other party had nowhere to hide. As for Su Yu, he went all out and punched out. Boom! The river broke apart, and the frog exploded with a bang. At the same time, one of the 16 invincible small clans suddenly let out a muffled groan. 3 bodies separated, and just as one of them appeared, a fist suddenly appeared behind its back. Bang! This loud bang caused the hearts of the invincible small clans in the area to tremble. Boom! The frog in the past exploded. The fist also disappeared in an instant. It was as if a punch from the past had exploded the opponent's past body. How dare you! At this moment, the heaven-hunting pavilion experts were all shocked. The time energy of the 10,000 heavenly saints was too powerful. It had penetrated through the past, present, and future. It had actually instantly traveled to the past and killed an unrivaled 3-generation body in the blink of an eye. Rumble. 10,000 heavenly saints. River of time fluctuated violently, but 10,000 heavenly saints did not care. He transmitted his voice to Su Yu. One can't hold on for too long. Intimidate them. Intimidate those small clans that are invincible and don't dare to participate in the battle. Tell them to avoid, only intimidate. He did not expect to really be able to kill an invincible in such a situation. Exploding 3-generation bodies was already his limit. Do you have any backup plans? Myriad Heaven Sage asked. If he didn't have any backup plans, that would probably be the end of it. If he didn't have any backup plans, that wouldn't be too bad. At the very least, it wouldn't be a loss for him to kill so many invincible opponents. It was useless to care too much in one's lifetime. One word, shun. Shun, shun, shun my thoughts. If I were to really lose, that would be my fate. After all, I rose up too late. There's still a last resort. Don't be afraid. When we're in big trouble later, I'll bring the manor head to run. Su Yu said telepathically. What's there to be afraid of? I'll bring you to the dead spirit realm. Yes, run. Don't run and wait for death. With he too and the others around, he could still make a living in the dead spirit realm. As for Lao Wan, at most, he too could help him transform, so what was there to be afraid of? They swam through the river of time, and with a rumbling sound, the myriad sage opened another river. However, just as they opened it, they saw the figure opposite them. The other party had sealed the river of time, and one of the 22 rivers that covered the sky disappeared. It was an invincible member of a small tribe. At this moment, his face was pale as he pulled away from the river of time. Without saying a word, he retreated a little. When he saw someone looking at him, he gritted his teeth and said nothing. I don't want to die here. In my race, only I can support that piece of heaven. Although the immortal race agreed to protect them, now that a great change was about to happen, would the immortal race still have the strength to protect them? It would be better if I lived. If I lived, even if the immortal race wanted to kill me in the small world, they would at least send out 6 or 7 invincible experts, or even more. I can't die. With this thought in mind, he hesitated for a moment. If he stayed here, the immortals would probably hold a grudge against him. Without saying anything else, he flew away. Run! The expressions of the other unrivaled experts changed slightly. He ran away. He actually ran away. He was too bold. Was he really not afraid that the immortals would deal with him? Su Yu and Wan Tiansheng were also surprised. The 10,000 races were currently ruled by a few giants. The human race was actually not counted. The human race had almost no connections with the top 100 races. They had been ruled by the immortals and fiend celestials for many years, yet they still dared to resist. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2786, Chapter 2786, Chapter 591 The Great Een. Chapter 2786, Chapter 591 The Great Een. How dare you? By accident, they left him alone. It's good. It's better than expected. I didn't kill the other guy, but he's gone. That's a good sign. Results. Just think. Suddenly, Lao Wan's river of time violently trembled, a rumble, 6 thick river of time forcibly inserted into, the next moment, 6 invincible. Little tricks are useless. The 6 experts surrounded the two from all directions. Suyu grinned and pointed at the one who spoke. It's you. Heaven Hunting Pavilion's enforcement elder, you talk too much nonsense. Even if Suyu, die here today, I will kill you. He and Lao Wan cooperated well and instantly charged at him. Both of them were extremely ruthless. The 6 of them attacked one after another. The 2 of them did not stop them, neither did they block them. They did not even look at them. They were truly putting their lives on the line. Lao Wan's river of time broke in an instant and interfered with the great elder of law enforcement. Suyu, on the other hand, went all out. He did not care about anything and allowed the others to kill him. He used up all his strength in one punch and was incomparably crazy. With a rumble, he smashed down towards the great elder of law enforcement. I said I'll kill you, I'll definitely kill you. You're just a middle-stage eternal realm cultivator, you can't stop babbling. Even if I'm injured or crippled, I'll still beat you to death. At this moment, even the great elder couldn't help but want to curse. Madman! Do you two want to lose your lives? Kill them! He screamed. These 2 madmen, you only have one life. Pavilion Master West and Pavilion Master South are both high-stage eternal realm cultivators. Under such circumstances, you two actually didn't defend yourself. Aren't you lunatics? You've completely gone mad. He shrieked and ran. The river of time and space was broken by Lao Wan, and Lao Wan's own was also broken. At this moment, the group of people were in the real world, so he directly fled. Without even thinking, he wasn't a lunatic. He also didn't want to think that these 2 were the souls of the dead before they died. These 2 were attacked and killed, so there was no chance at all. The first elder cursed in his heart, you don't have a chance. Just as he was thinking, Suyu's fist had already arrived. The first elder was stunned for a moment. So fast, was there no one to stop him? His heart trembled. At this moment, the West Pavilion Master suddenly slashed out with his sword in the opposite direction, shattering the palm of the South Pavilion Master. That was the palm that was aimed at Suyu. The West Pavilion Master was originally aiming at the 10,000 Heavenly Saints, but at this moment, he didn't make a move to deal with the 10,000 Heavenly Saints. Instead, he slashed out with his sword, catching the South Pavilion Master somewhat unprepared. As for Suyu, he didn't receive any interference and struck out with his fist. Boom! The first elder's body directly shattered. With confusion and anger, he said. You are a traitor. Traitor? The Pavilion Master of the West Pavilion said softly, 1 a.m. not. Heaven Overseeing Marquis has betrayed us. This Heaven Hunting Pavilion is King Wen's faction. King Wen's faction is the human race. Don't you know who betrayed us? A sword instantly appeared in the hand of the Pavilion Master of the South Tower. He looked at him and said in a low voice, West Pavilion, don't forget that this is 100,000 years after the ancient times. West Tower Lord said softly, haven't forgotten. However, 100,000 years later, this is also the territory of the human race. The 2 peerless experts instantly clashed together. Their long swords rippled through the void, creating many spatial cracks. Su Yu and Wan Tiansheng were both a little surprised. They had the intention of killing the Great Elder with heavy injuries. Su Yu had already planned to instantly open the undead passageway when he was heavily injured, but in the end, the Heaven Hunting Pavilion had an internal conflict again. Another King human. Su Yu was speechless. How many people were there already? What was the Western Pavilion Master, the heads of the Tian, Xian, and Huang divisions, and the Heaven Overseeing Marquis thinking? Could it be that he felt that these humans had been brainwashed by him to abandon their races at the crucial moment? As for the First Elder, his body shattered and a river of time appeared on the spot, barely recovering. Soon, a human figure appeared once more. Just as Su Yu was about to make his move, the other experts made their moves. Apart from them, the North Tower Lord, the Earth and Mystic two tribes all had their ministers. The three experts were also extremely solemn as they shouted, "Those outside, come together." Damn it! The West Pavilion Lord had betrayed them. In the air, the two experts were fighting in a mess. In the Heaven Hunting Pavilion, the scholar didn't seem too surprised and only sighed. As expected, life and death, race, faith, sometimes, it was very difficult to change. The Heaven Hunting Pavilion was, after all, King Wen's subordinate organization. He knew about some old antiques, and the humans liked to mix in, so he didn't care too much. In other words, there was nothing he could do about it. The humans were happy with one another. Generation after generation, tide after tide, they all mixed in. He didn't dare to randomly kill these humans during the first 6 tide changes. In the end, he still accepted them. He knew that they were humans, be it the head of the Sky Division or Pavilion Master XL, but they were all humans before the 6th tide. In the end, Pavilion Master 11 still betrayed him. He betrayed him. In the end, he wasn't as popular as King Wen. He wasn't surprised at all. It was a test for him to get these people to make a move. It could only be said that he had overestimated himself and underestimated the human race. At this moment, he walked out of the main hall step by step. A golden book appeared in his hand. It was time to make a move. It was time to clean up the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. Too many humans had infiltrated the pavilion. Since he had ended up like this, there were some matters that he had already made a decision on. At this moment, in Hongmeng Ancient City, the sculpture of the old turtle wriggled its body slightly. Soon, the old turtle transformed into human form and floated in the sea. Looking at the ancient city, then at Su Yu, he pondered for a moment before chuckling.